And now it's time for a word from our show sponsors, Highland Titles. Imagine that yes, you can become a lord or lady for just $30. Buying a plot of land from highlandtitles.com will allow you to make use of a Scottish tradition in which landowners are given a courtesy title. All you have to do is buy 1 square foot of land from the Highland Titles estate in Scotland for just $30 and you'll become a lord or lady of the Glen. You'll get a legal right of ownership to your land, which you can visit anytime. You can also buy 2 plots of land next to each other, which makes a really popular gift for couples. The Highlands is known as one of the most romantic places in the world, and thousands of people have been to visit their plots. It's a really cool gift that was featured in the Everyone Wins gift bag that was given to all the Oscar nominees last year. Check it out at highlandtitles.com and use the discount code Viall Files to get 25% off your order. highlandtitles.com, discount code Viall Files for 25% off.
You're crazy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a fantastic episode of the Viall Files Going Deeper edition. I'm Nick, your host. Welcome. Excited to have you joined by the household. Allie's in studio. Wow, she's decided to visit us from St. Paul, Minneapolis.
Nope.
Nope. Whatever. I just want to cover my face. St. Paul, Minnesota. I don't care. Whatever.
But then that means you don't care about me.
Yeah. Oh.
No, I just don't care about Minnesota. I'm a rival. I'm a Wisconsinite. You know, we're being petty.
Does that
He's
until
doing
he
it on
wants
purpose.
tickets?
He's doing it on purpose.
Amanda is also with us. We got
Thank
Justin,
you.
our pop culture correspondent, and my fiance, love of my life, Natalie Joy. Yay!
You can mix that up. You can mix that up sometimes. I do feel like it's like, just kind of a script in your head.
I said love of my life this time.
Yeah, but you say that every time. Like, we get it,
It's because you are. Hey.
Just kidding.
Well, we have a great episode for you. The one, the only Olivia Flowers is with us from Southern Charm. She was serving. She was giving. She was a queen. We loved having her. She was a generous guest, talking about all the drama that's going on in Southern Charm. A lot of friendship dynamics, friend breakups, relationship breakups, all the things going on with her and Austen, her and Taylor, and so much more. It was a really fun conversation with
It was
Olivia.
so good.
Yeah.
I feel like it was really nice because it kind of like it gave context in a way that was like I found very like juicy and interesting without feeling like mean spirited. Like she's
Yeah.
just
She
she's a
definitely-
high character lady.
Yeah, she really
is.
Yes. I couldn't agree more. She was wonderful. Well, we're excited for you guys to listen to Olivia. If you are tuning in for the first time,
Hey.
because you wanted to hear about Olivia, welcome. We're happy to have you. So much to get into. All right, well, let's start with Special Forces. Well, let's kind of recap it a little bit. Yeah, me, Tyler, Aaron, we won.
Okay.
Great. All right. Yeah. I kind of saying we passed. We passed selection. JoJo, she quit on her own. She definitely couldn't have finished. It was kind of a bummer that again, we talked about this on Tuesday, but she totally could have passed. So a little behind the scenes, when she bowed out, the DSs were really mad. Like, I think we heard like Foxy was like pissed.
He was like, "Where is she?"
No, they really loved her. JoJo really endeared themselves to her, and she really did crush it. And I think they were just kind of bummed that she decided to leave. So like when Foxy came in, it was kind of like, I get it, but we're bummed and disappointed, but they were really sad about it. I feel like Tom got a bad beat. I kind of feel bad. Like the past few days, we've been posting a lot. Obviously, Tyler and JoJo and I have become very close, and Tyler's been here a lot, and we've hung out, and then obviously Aaron finished with us. We love Aaron. We keep in touch. Aaron's like traveling the world, kicking ass and speed skating. Last time I talked to her, she was in Japan, so it's a little harder to keep in touch. But so a lot of us are posting about the 3 finalists, me, Aaron, and Tom, and then we're always including JoJo, being like, "And we love JoJo because she did so well," and Tom's not really getting any love. I kind of feel a little bad. I mean,
Then why didn't you show him love?
I sent him a text and said, "Great job." Well, I kind of thought about this after the fact, after I posted about it,
Did he respond to your text?
He did. Yeah.
Okay,
He
nice.
thought it was very sweet. And I said, "Hey man, you did a really good job." He definitely, he failed the interrogation. I wasn't totally shocked about that. And we talked about on Reality Recap that like he didn't see him paying attention to that part where it was kind of important. But like the part where they pulled him for like, because he was like hypothermic, we were all shivering like that, you know? So I don't know why they pulled Tom. Like we were all night long fucking shivering. It was a freezing cold room. Our clothes were soaked with sweat. And then the room was like probably 35 degrees and we were lying on a concrete floor all night. So, you know, I guess it did seem peculiar when they pulled Tom into the doctor's office and he, like when I was hypothermic, I didn't stop shivering. But whether that was clever editing or not, I'm not sure. But he had a tough exit. I felt a little bad for him.
Well, I'm thinking now about how he always goes into reunions with his story straight and how he's like kind of famously both with like Ariana and Schwartz have talked about the way he'll like coordinate with them. And hearing you say this, I'm like, maybe we need to bring some interrogation to the reality TV space.
Yeah, maybe.
For the confessionals.
Yeah. Grab him and like, it was kind of funny when they grabbed him and he kind of looked away like he didn't want to make eye contact with him. But I mean, listen, for all of Tom's faults, and we have covered them thoroughly on this show, like he did well on this show, you know, and you can't do what he did without demonstrating some positive qualities. He attacked every challenge. He was a fighter. He didn't give up. These are some admirable qualities, you know. I think we can still criticize and still acknowledge.
You know,
you have a hard time doing that?
No, and I know I need to just like agree with you on this. And
Don't
be
have
like,
to.
Sure. No, but like he was a fighter. He didn't give up. That describes a lot of bad people throughout history.
Fair enough. No, but he was I don't know.
I hear you.
He was tough. He, you know, like he wasn't a quitter. I don't know. I just think we can acknowledge some positive qualities about a guy.
Yeah.
I still, you know, don't see eye to eye with him on some other aspects of life, but
One thing, he's not going to give up on himself ever.
So true, bestie.
okay. He was a good teammate to have around.
What?
Hello? Like he was a good teammate?
He thought he was being motivating. He was just yelling.
He's not a good motivator. He's not a good motivator.
He
And
was
yes, he's
trying.
reactive and
We
he's
have to
emotional,
use all
but
of this for the fart.
it's not.
Turn off your light.
Yeah, yes. I wouldn't want Tom leading our troop, but you know, he's not without some good qualities. That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
Whatever. I do want to, so it was interesting because I wish one regret I have, I do want to say thank you for the executives at Fox, because when I found out about Special Forces, like as you all know, like we had just found out Natalie was pregnant.
Yes.
And so it was like, I don't, you know, we hadn't really been to the doctor. You know, we went to the one doctor, meaning at that point, doctor visit, whatever. And they were like, well, it's so early, but yeah, you're pregnant. But like, what?
You kind of downplay the story because it was truly like a little traumatic, especially for me.
Sorry. Okay, sorry.
We went to the doctors. I found out I was pregnant extremely early, like 3 weeks. We went to the doctor at 5 weeks. And she was like, it is extremely early. I don't see a baby. And your uterus is rippled, which is a sign for a miscarriage. She's like, but again, it is early. So like things can change.
So early.
But that's what she left me with. And then Nick left for New Zealand. So I was home and then she was like, come back in 2 weeks at 7 weeks and we'll see if anything has changed.
Yeah.
So then I had that 7-week appointment by myself of like, this is when you find out if there's a baby or if
yeah.
there's not.
And so that was kind of partly when I was there, I was like, oh, should I just quit and go home? I was using,
Yeah.
it was a valid excuse, but it was also like my excuse if I wanted to quit type of thing. And prior to going, it was like, well, I want to talk about this. It really was my motivation more than anything to be like, how cool it will be. Like if and I didn't know we were going to have a daughter at that point, like how cool it would be if my kid can watch this someday, but also like, we don't know, I could come back. And I honestly was worried. Like, you know, when I left, I was like, well, if you need anything, call. Like she had, you know, proper contacts, but so I was hoping I wouldn't get a call from Natalie, you know, like I was hoping no one would pull me aside and be like, hey, Nick, there's a phone call for you, because that I assumed that would be bad news. And so, but up into that, prior to leaving, like it was, you know, I'm like, they're going to break my brain. I don't know what's going to happen in interrogation. And we were afraid that like, what happens if I talk about being, you know, becoming a father and then, you know, something doesn't work out, you know, we get bad news, there's a miscarriage or something. And so the Fox executives were very like kind in the sense that like, listen, if you talk about it, we won't show it without your permission. And so I really didn't talk about it all that much until the end. And, you know, I wish I could have leaned into it more, like just me thinking about being a dad and Natalie and I, you know, finding out that she was pregnant. But they were so cool about it. And afterwards, as we got more and more positive news, they were, you know, they worked with us to get it in and stuff like that. So I really appreciated them doing that.
That's so smart because I have like one very close friend who's had a miscarriage, and it's like it's like in my brain like every year in the month to like center it because it's just a really hard time for her, and it's something where it's like she thinks about it I think she thinks about it every single day, and so it's like I don't know, pragmatic and smart of you to like make it cuttable. And I'm curious, like Natalie, were there any times where like kind of in the uncertainty of like not really like knowing and having obviously all this hope, but also like being alone and in fear, like where you almost kind of like made the call or where you were really like tempted to
totally
reach out?
Yeah, I absolutely wanted. I had a guy's number, and Nick was like, please only use this for emergencies. And I knew he really wanted to be in that experience. And so whenever I did have the doctor's appointment, she was like, your uterus is fine. I see a baby. I really wanted to call him and be like, everything's fine. But I knew it would like break that wall of reality. So I just had to swallow it.
The first thing I opened my phone to was a video of the heartbeat, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm getting kind of emotional thing. Yeah, it was great. It was so cool. It was like the coolest thing. So yeah, it was really great. I think I mentioned on the show on episode 7 before the finale when Bodhi voluntarily withdrew, and they recorded me saying I think he did it for us, and someone asked what I meant by that. Like before we did the whole sled pull, like they aired Foxy being like, "No, all of you will be standing here at the end of this," and they were not going to stop until one of us quit. So that's why after we did like the sled pull for like 2 miles over like hills and terrain and mountains, and they just kept running us and doing beer crawls, they were not going to stop until one of us quit. So that's what I meant when Bodhi withdrew. Like I felt like I think he knew that, and like he was like injured and hurting. I don't think it was totally like a self-sacrifice, but I think he was cognizant enough that, you know, it's like maybe it's okay for me to go so everyone else can stop suffering. That's what I meant by that. So
We love Bodhi.
yeah, Bodhi was
Speaking
great.
of suffering, you guys have been watching Squid Games.
We have. It's amazing.
Insane.
You guys, everyone's got to watch it. It's such a like social experiment on like life.
It's extremely well done. I think the original version for a lot of people was very violent. You know, it was very like, whoa, this is hard to watch.
It's like red light, green light, you're dead.
Yeah. And so it has all of the same aspects, just no murder. I mean, there's like a little
J'adore.
J'adore. There's a little like blow pop in their shirt and then they're told to like fall back when they die.
But it's really fascinating because it starts with like 400 some people, and then they sent like the first 4 episodes have been out. Starts with red light, green light, which eliminates almost more than half right away. What's so fascinating about it is that a lot of this, like the challenges in games, you know, require strategy, they require physical strength, like mental aptitude and things like that. But a lot of it's also like random, like things that are a lot of outside of your control. People can eliminate other people. There's little challenges in between. And what's really fascinating is like more than anything, the most important strategy, like on Special Forces, they referred to me as the gray man because I was like more kind of middle of the pack the whole way through and didn't like stand out in a good way. And they kind of did this. They explained to us that like in the military, that's positive. Like you don't always want to attract the most attention to yourself. And what's fascinating about Squid Games is that's really what it's all about. It's like more than anything, the number one rule so far seems to be is like blend in.
When they called Nick that, everyone thought they said great.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I've missed a bit of Special Forces, and I was editing together the sizzle reel for Nick, and I was going to the finale, and they were like, "You, the gray man, whatever," and I was like, "Oh, they just called you old." I was like, "You old man." I was like, "Grandpa made it to the end."
Yeah.
Pawpaw, good job.
You and these youngins, you did it.
If you didn't have subtitles on, it kind of sounds like great man. Like they were calling me like a great man, and I was like, "Oh shit, man!" But they were not. They were calling me gray man. But on Special Forces, yeah, you have to blend in because everyone who stands out gets fucking whacked by like a peer who like is jealous of them or doesn't like them, annoys them. Or sometimes as soon as you get any advantage, people are like, no, fucking like kill that guy. It's really fascinating. Like one of the standouts early on is this athlete from Clemson, kind of a cocky guy. He's
He definitely has Squid Games, the challenge in his bio on Instagram currently.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally, like that kind.
Right underneath
But like
Clemson.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
D1 athlete.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
Oh, not the D1 athlete.
D1 athlete. Yeah.
But he also like he was a competitor and he wasn't a whiner, which I kind of liked about him because other people were just like, as soon as someone has an advantage, they're like, kill.
There's
And
also a lot of crying. There's a lot of like the pressure of having to do, a task or something. People just started sobbing, and it was like,
there's a
okay.
lot of like,
Are
a lot
you
of
okay?
a lot of that where
I
it's
do
like,
feel
okay,
like
you've
though
been here for
sometimes
2
once
days.
the tear dam is opened,
It's hard to shut.
floodgates.
I was
for
gonna say,
sure.
I would
Every
cry.
single thing
Yeah.
is setting you off.
I actually sobbed this morning when Nick made me get out of bed.
Oh,
Maybe woke you up.
I started. He was like, "Why are you crying?" And I was just like,
I'm so tired. And I'm like, well, you can stay home.
"Yeah." It was rough. It's because we were out all night at Miss Kathy Hilton's house for her Christmas
Okay, how
party.
was
But hold on, I gotta get on the father-daughter of Squid Games. I know
You
that was
can't
such a good
ruin-
that was a great
You can't ruin
transition.
it
I
for
know.
everyone,
I'm sorry, it was a
though.
great
They have to watch Squid Games.
The first batch has been out.
Wait, I'm confused. Is this real? These are real people?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you mean?
About the pregnancy?
No, we were
Oh,
joking.
no.
I
a
believed it too.
7-year-old
I
woman was
believed
not
it.
impregnated by her son.
Before
on
we
a
started
game,
recording, we're like, we gotta
Amanda.
talk about this mother and son pairing.
Well,
I
I
and-
insert it
asked
here.
Natalie
Well, okay.
if he opened her up like Edward in Twilight.
I
You thought that was real?
No, I thought
Should we
no,
do a
not
rewind?
that bit. I thought that.
Well, yeah, go.
I think we were recording. Derek, play it back.
The mom and son fuck? Is that what you're going to spoil for us?
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
gets pregnant.
basically.
Ew.
She gets pregnant.
No.
She's 70 years old and she gets pregnant.
With his child? Whoa.
And then she dies. 'cause
Why?
of Squid Games.
Does he cut her open to save the baby like Edward?
No.
Mm.
Oh,
He kills the baby too.
because it's incestual.
Double homicide.
Damn, double homicide. Okay, because I was like, maybe they're talking about the TV show and not the challenge. I was upset. I was upset and confused.
I'm so sorry.
But the son impregnated.
Yes.
The challenge is that they had to have sex. Everyone had to watch them. If you looked away, you got killed.
That is so terrifying.
That's like a sick porno.
You pitching to
a
the
real
network.
sick porno.
So here's what I'm
Hello,
saying.
sharks.
Incest.
Hear me out.
Yuck.
Kathy Hilton.
We're not. Okay, yeah.
If you really want to get into the mother son,
It was
feel
just so
free,
fucking.
but
It was just like
like
the well, we talked about it last week. His mom, the New York Times sports reporter. It's an
yes,
aspirational
Nick.
job.
This is when Nick hated on every delivery driver
No, I
and got canceled for it.
No, I love a delivery driver.
I love a good time, man.
It's
I love a good time.
but like it's not an aspirational job.
You don't know that.
Yeah, you don't know everyone's dreams.
You do not know that.
When you watch 10 Things, what was it? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Gays. Annie was a
10
main.
Gays. 10 Gays. You taking a wee house.
What did I say? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Gays.
Pride in WeHo.
Literally.
Let's go see
Literally.
Idina Menzel sing Let It Go and see how many straight men are left.
I mean, whatever. Like, yeah, like if there's like this rom-com, the main character, woman lead is often like a journalist for some sort of like magazine or newspaper or whatever. And then like a Good Will Hunting movie where he's like working construction or like a blue collar job is usually a movie about like, being able to do something else. It's like, it just is like, but yes, it's a noble profession. And
I
I'm
would
just
love
saying,
to be a delivery driver. First of all, you knew that
We're
was
never
my...
getting
No, no, no.
packages anymore for
First-
Christmas.
yeah.
Literally.
First of all, you knew that was my dream as a child, and now
No, your
it
dream was like a mailman.
That's still kind of the same thing.
I guess.
But delivery around this time, you know how people set out snacks for delivery
Yeah.
drivers?
Mm-hmm.
I think we should do
that's
that,
so
number
cute.
one.
We will
People
sell
set
some.
out like little snacks and drinks,
They have
and they're
little
like,
trays.
I love that.
Right.
Nick needs to. That's his freaking penance.
I'm just saying the
need
mom is a
to.
rock star and the son is an ordinary average.
Maybe he is a rock star, Nick.
He's not. No, he is not.
but you're a rock star, and what if our daughter is just works at
She can do
Old
it.
Navy?
Great. Yeah, that's fine.
Something my mom said that I thought was very wise. So she was like, because my dad has like worked in the same job for like 34 years, and it's like, or I think I just pulled that number out of my ass. But the point is, he works for the government. It's very unglamorous. It's like kind of a bummer of a job, but it's like necessary. And my mom was like, ambition comes in many forms. Like at first I thought, because like my mom's like she was a doctor. She went to fucking Harvard med school. Meanwhile, my dad's just like working at the same government job. And she was like, ambition comes in so many different forms. And like your dad is so ambitious when it comes to like the family life that he wants.
Yeah, my dad worked a blue collar job his whole life. Like my dad, when he, reflects on his life, I don't think his job is going to be up there in terms of things he's most proud of. What he's going to be proud of is raising 11 kids and giving his whole life to his children and showing up and being at all their events and grinding it. And he has so much to be proud of for that. To that point, yes, like not everyone lives to work. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone puts their profession on the top.
So why do you hate the son so much?
I just think when your mom is this absolute all-star and this killer and so impressive in so many ways, and all her son does is just follow mom around, and he's jealous of all the standouts, and he's kind of a loser. And that's what I think. You guys can disagree.
All right, let's move on.
Kathy Hilton.
They're all staring there like, okay.
Kathy Hilton.
You guys can all tell me I'm wrong in the comments.
No, we'll tell you you're wrong right now, but
you haven't even fucking seen it.
Kathy Hilton's house.
Love. We went to a Christmas party at Kathy Hilton's house.
Okay.
And it was reality TV heaven.
It was Bravo heaven.
Bravo.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
We ran into
Mary.
Mary.
Cosby?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa. Was she sweet?
She was very nice. She looked at Natalie and she looked at Natalie's belly and she was like, "You're having a boy." And I was like, "Close."
Close.
Not there yet.
Try again.
One more chance.
Totally.
That's a flex, though, to be invited to Kathy Hilton's party.
No, it was truly a flex.
Yeah.
It was wild for
it
me,
was
especially.
sponsored by DirecTV.
What
it wasn't
outfits
like an intimate
were
setting.
especially fun, or did you notice when you got there?
Well, first, my outfit, all I had is this, it was like a fuzzy kind of sweatery material green dress with a matching cardigan,
Mhm.
right? And
Sexy.
I put it on and it was giving the Grinch.
Like if you wanted to go
belly.
like sexy
You know?
Grinch for like Halloween,
It would work.
it would
The heart?
totally work.
Several sizes too small. The belly growing a life.
Yes.
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
Yeah, like the Grinch had a little bit of a
I can't cancel that
a little
again.
bit of a tummy.
But what will I wear?
What will I wear?
And so I was like, I was like, Nick, I'm not getting on the red carpet with you. I'm literally just going for you. I hate this outfit. And then I was like, let me just see what I can do with this. So then I buttoned the cardigan and rolled down the dress and made it a maxi skirt and showed the belly. And I was like, oh my God, this is a serve. And so, yeah, the belly was out. And that's why Mary, I think everyone kind of,
You were a star.
Kyle Richards is like, oh my God, congratulations. Everyone kind of.
I said hi to Kyle and I was like, "Oh, we're big fans," and she looked at me like a deer in headlights. Like she had no idea. I'm like, "You'll be on my show soon."
But I feel like a baby or like a pregnancy that's like very visible is such a good conversation starter. It's like, it's kind of like how Kiki, our office dog, instantly, like whenever people come in, there's like right away like something to connect to. I'm like, oh my God, we love this dog. And I feel like similarly at a party when you're mingling,
Yes.
you're like, oh, I got this.
Crystal
This is
and her
mine.
husband. I chatted with him for quite some time about the baby.
Crystal. We ran into Crystal.
Yeah,
Lovely.
He is very funny. I feel like he doesn't get much screen time on the show, but he is quite funny.
Yeah, like we ran into Crystal and her husband, and like I paired off and talked to Crystal for 5 minutes, and Natalie talked to her husband for like 5 minutes. Yeah,
He's really funny.
yeah, and then we went our
Miss
separate
Katie
ways.
Thurston was there.
Yeah, saw Katie.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yes. Lovely to
Who
see
else
her.
did we
Katie
see?
Maloney,
Katie
Sheena.
Maloney, Sheena.
Became best
James
friends with
Kennedy.
Josh Peck's wife.
Yeah, Josh Peck and his wife were there. Lovely
no
couple.
surprise
Yeah.
that they're
Love her.
delightful.
Yeah.
Josh never texted me for babysitting.
Really?
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Took down my number and everything.
You're kidding.
Well, you're
I'm
gone
just
now.
Throwing that out
You
there.
must have knew
But
you
that
were
was
out.
a while ago. That was in
That's
Van
true.
Nuys.
Paige Peck. What a great name.
Yeah. Yeah, it could go either way.
It's like
it's
By the way, you hate it.
no. Well, I like it, but it could go either way.
Say more.
Like
I just mean like it's like
Paige Peck.
Paige Peck Like it works for me personally, but I feel like it's very close to not working, but I ultimately think it works. That's my humble opinion.
It's like Natalie's outfit. It was very close to not
Very
working.
close to not
but
working.
we got it.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
I think it's a great name.
Yeah.
Very charming couple.
It was very fun. It was interesting to be inside of Kathy Hilton's home, I will say.
Was she running around with her tequila? Because that's like her thing.
She had real snow there outside. She imported real snow.
She did.
Yeah.
I don't
So-
know.
Also,
She
I was wondering if it was her actual house because there are certain people in LA who have like spare houses for like events. Like Ryan Seacrest has like a house for stuff. She'll like record his
For me.
record his like radio show where he doesn't.
I would
live in
lay
it.
down my life for Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah, we know. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
You have
We were
particular
only
taste.
allowed in like 2 rooms though.
Yeah.
The
So maybe
downs-
she lives
yeah,
there. I
the
don't
ma-
know.
Yeah, it was like no going. There was no chance of bling ringing Kathy Hilton's house.
No.
My friend was watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 9 finale, or like reunion rather, last night. And I did see the bit where Kyle like straddles Mo at a party and starts like making out with him while everybody else is just like very casually hanging out
Mo
there.
was not there.
And it made me okay, so he wasn't, because
He
it
wasn't
made me
there. We didn't see him.
sad because I was like, I know you'd said like it's like you can see the love
Mhm.
leave the
He was
Leave the
not
chat.
there. Yeah.
Teddy Mellencamp was there from the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Heather Dubrow,
Heather. I didn't get to say hi to Heather.
Francesca Fargo.
Francesca was there. Yeah.
wow.
It was a very like.
Well, and then
Oh.
tonight we're going to the top 40 most powerful women in reality TV
I
at
was just
Variety.
about to
so
say,
we're going to
like,
see all
so
of them again
many.
tonight. It's
Yeah.
going to be like a back-to-back reality TV mashup.
It was awesome going through that list. I was like, oh my goodness, so many of these people have been on the Viall Files. Like that feels very exciting that we get to like
Yes.
talk to the best of the best.
Yeah, we love that. Taylor Swift turned down an invitation to play at King Charles' coronation?
Okay,
I
so
love
this
this.
is actually, it's in a book from a royal expert entitled Endgame. And so royal expert Omid Scobie claims that Swift turned down the offer to perform at the coronation, which took place in May. Now, the Eras Tour had just started, so there's a big chance that she just was on tour and couldn't do it. But he did say that they really struggled to find artists for the event, which is
Wow,
probably
really?
how they ended up with Katy Perry singing Firework to
Oh yeah.
the nation.
Katy Perry's a good get.
No, I know,
Oh,
but she's singing like a very American 4th of July
Yeah.
song.
right.
That's
Well, if you
so
want,
Like country
if you wanted
that
them,
we
Yeah.
like took ourselves out of.
well, it is particular. Like the Brits have some really iconic rock stars from their country. So
But maybe they're not
The
Team
first
Charles.
I went, the first person I was like Jessie J. Don't ask me why, but that's what. And
Not Elton John.
no, I like it was an unhinged first
Paul
person to
McCartney,
think
yeah.
of. Yeah.
So yeah, Katy Perry, I guess, on that regard, is an interesting get. But I kind of love this for like my narrative of like Taylor being like, no, I'm the queen of America, and so like I'm just not gonna.
I just don't think people like Charles. I don't think a lot of people wanted to be
Or
associated
just
with
whatever.
that.
In my world, it had more to do with, again, just to go back on what I said on Tuesday about, I really think Taylor and Travis, if they make it, are going to be our prince and princess, our king and queen.
Yeah.
You know, instead of Harry and Meghan, which I know ruffled some feathers, which is fine. I don't care. Listen, people were like, "Oh, is Nick comparing like family drama to like the horrific things that Meghan and Harry went through?" I'm like, yeah, I am. Like, if you're lucky enough that your family doesn't have some really tragic family drama, then consider yourself lucky. How many families deal with hate and bigotry and sometimes abuse and sometimes like real toxic behavior and sometimes people get kicked out of the house because of who they love and who they are? Like, yeah, families got some real horrible shit. A lot of your friends and peers, we all do. It sucks. Yeah. And the only difference between all of us and Harry and Meghan is their story is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and get your bag. Good for them. I just don't have to like you for it. That's all I'm saying. And I just think Taylor and Travis, like Taylor is the quintessential all-American story. She is a prodigy like songwriter who is given this amazing gift, and then she didn't stop there. She became this ultra successful businesswoman, creates this empire, all while simultaneously like having this as normal of a life with her family and her friends, and she's vulnerable and shares her love life to her audience and through music. And instead of like a scandalous tell-all of whining and complaining, she's like clever and strategic in her Easter eggs and dropping these things. And it's like, it's just far more likable for me. And then she's now dating this NFL football all-star, very charming, who like, again, entertains and smiles. Like, to me, that's who I want to root for. That's my couple. And if you want to root for Harry and Meghan and all their like whining about the shit that we all have to deal with as well, like, then that's good for you. That's my 2 cents.
Period.
Yeah. You want to disagree?
Well, I don't know that we have time.
You can try. I mean, come on, we have a minute.
I just think,
The floor is yours, Senator.
okay, what they encountered in the royal, like, I don't think we're talking about the fact that like Meghan was suicidal and not allowed to get help. And the
Again,
scale,
she has the right to.
You can't. This is Amanda's rebuttal. You
Yeah,
can't
I'm
interrupt
sorry.
Amanda's
Yes.
rebuttal.
I apologize.
I don't think we're talking about the scale of the hatred that they received, and like and I get that Taylor Swift also has been on like the receiving end of like mass negativity, but she was not within like a royal institution
No, totally.
that was like talking about the color of her baby's skin and limiting like her exposure to people and reading her mail and all this crazy shit.
It sucks. It's horrible what they had to go through, and it really empathize.
Are you finished with your rebuttal before he interrupts you?
I'm sorry. No, go ahead, please.
You would not do well in a political debate.
Yeah.
Or you do great, honestly. It
Yeah.
feels like politicians
I'm
are
trying to
gonna-
be Lester Holt here, and it's not going
Oh
well.
my god, that would be that's your job. I'm sorry. That's your job in 20 years. Political
Lester
debate
Holt.
moderator.
Amanda, please
What gave
continue.
it away?
I think that's the main point of what I have to say. Is just that I feel like you have every right to just on a personal level like them more. I don't think you have a right to condemn their personalities.
I'm not condemning them. I'm just saying they're not for me. That's all I'm saying. That they're not my royal couple. I think they're probably wonderful people, and they absolutely have things to complain about. I'm simply saying so do so many other people. And I don't admire them for their complaints. I admire Taylor and Travis for their accomplishments.
But you don't admire what they've had to go through and how they've gone through it and come out on the other. You can't acknowledge and have compassion for any of that.
I have compassion for what they went through for sure, but I am not impressed with their ability to tell a story and get paid hundreds of millions of dollars for it. No, like everyone else just has to go to Facebook and, and gripe that way, and they don't get paid hundreds of millions of dollars for it.
On a lighter note, I wish I could credit the comedian. I don't remember who it was, but he was talking about how apparently Prince Harry allegedly was a cokehead. And he's like, do you know how fucking funny it is that he took like a bill with the picture of his grandma on it, rolled it up, and then did cocaine with it?
That's kind of
How many
hilarious.
other people do cocaine with the picture of their
kind of
grandma?
yeah, it's hilarious. Also, but like, that the royal family, it's just like for all my life, like Harry and his brother, William. Like, it was always like heartthrobs on the cover of like, and I'm always like, are they? They're just, come on, they just been given so many, like, because they're royalty, we're being told that they're like these heartthrobs, and they're just not. But who is? Travis Kelce.
There was a billboard of William and Harry in Minnesota when I was like in middle school.
Yeah.
Like, why were they on a billboard?
Who fucking knows?
We know who they are.
Yeah.
What are they advertising?
Themselves.
Travis and Taylor are my king and queen. That's all I'm saying. And if I respect anyone who wants to have Harry and Meghan be theirs, they're just not mine.
Now it's time to
all
get to our queen,
I
Olivia
am
Flowers.
saying.
Literally, I was
Yes.
like, Olivia Flowers is a queen.
All right. Well, is it time? Is it time? All right. Well, before we get to Olivia, don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com for all things texting office hours, Ask Nick, mediation. You know the drill. Again, if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. Subscribe. Tell your friends. We're here 3 days a week at least. We have Ask Nick on Mondays. A lot of relationship and dating people call in. We share stories. We share advice. Similar to the texting office hours you're going to hear with Olivia this episode. Every Tuesday, we have our reality recaps. We're breaking down a lot of Bravo, Bachelor, Squid Games, all your favorite reality TV and pop culture topics. And then on Thursday, we have your favorite personalities in pop culture, reality TV, and more. And we get to know them. So I hope you subscribe. Join us. All right. It's time for Olivia.
Wait, look at my foot, Nick.
You got Vessies on?
Look at my foot.
Oh, look at those stylish sneakers. How dry are your feet?
Ta-da!
So dry.
What a traveling queen you are. Well, Vessi, they are hitting the market like never before. They're hot. They're hot right now. I'm seeing people wear Vessis all over the place. Thanks to the Viall Files, obviously. Clearly, we have the influence like no other. But truly, I'm seeing Vessi all over the map now that we've been talking about it because they are keeping your feet dry, comfortable, and you're still stylish.
That's right. The shoes sweeping the nation because we need versatile shoes, whether you're someone who travels or whether you're someone who just wants to have a day where no matter what life throws at you, you're ready to go. It is so clutch having a shoe that can get you through any and all weather conditions. I love it, especially when you get a sneaky rainstorm. Having footwear that is like comfortable, looks nice, but can also get you through some unexpected weather is such a blessing.
I have been traveling a lot the last couple days, many airports, and I wore my Vessi sneakers that you just saw me put in Amanda's face. And I had their women's overcast jacket in a nice, like, olive hunter green color. And I feel like when you have a good travel outfit, your day is just better. Nothing can stop you.
It's truly remarkable what Vessi is doing when it comes to keeping your feet dry, comfortable, and stylish all at the same time. They are 100% waterproof, not water resistant. So all of you travelers out there, all of you city walkers, keep your feet dry and comfortable with Vessi. If you're like us and you want to be ready for anything rain or shine, or if you have a trip coming up and you need the perfect travel shoe, head to vessi.com/VIALL and get yourself a pair today. Or maybe give yourself a loved one a pair as well. Go to vessi.com/VIALL and get shoes for your best winter yet. Drizzly, the #1 way to buy beer, wine, and spirits with delivery to your doorstep when you need it. The season of giving is upon us, and there is no easier way to give a loved one or a friend the gift of spirits, beer, or wine with Drizzly. It's the perfect last minute, I forgot to give this person a gift idea. You know, you truly just go to the Drizzly app, hit a couple buttons, and then before you know it, you are sending someone you forgot about 10 minutes ago a nice bottle of their favorite drink. They won't even know that you forgot all about them.
Also, with the holidays coming up, it's like so many holiday parties. You want to have those festive, fun spirits that you might not always have in your bar cart. So when you realize, oh my goodness, I need a little bit of this just to make my holiday party pop, Drizzly is the go-to spot.
Just remember, when you're having a party and the drinks went out, the fun doesn't have to because there's that Drizzly app available to restock all the beer, wine, and spirits that you already drank to keep the party going. You don't have to send anyone out. They have some of your favorites like Bullet Bourbon, Don Julio, Reposado, and Kettle One. Just really a great variety of all the drinks and some ones that you probably never heard of. So mix it up with Drizzly. So check out their great assortment of wines, liquors, beers for all the connoisseurs out there. Find something new and delicious for you to enjoy. Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. The go-to app for alcohol delivery must be 21 years or older, not available in all locations. Again, that's drizzly.com or go to the Drizzly app.
Nick, you're very blue today.
I am. Yeah.
Oh, Tuesday blues. Are you feeling sad?
No.
Oh,
He's sad because he ran out of hair product.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I got this and then put on the jeans and then I went this
Blue
and then
t-shirt
I
and the
pulled out
blue-
the blue chucks. and then-
Obviously, yes.
I have chucks in every color.
I'm close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like going through. I'm like, yep, a lot of color.
He does.
Do you have it orange? I feel like that doesn't really
No, I
count because it's like
Because, well, yeah, I went to Clemson and our colors are orange and purple.
okay,
Oh, you went to
totally.
Clemson.
Halloween, all colors.
Mm.
Those are very ugly.
Yeah, we also went to a purple school. We didn't have the orange involved, but like it was like a bright purple.
Yeah.
Like it's
My
not a
high
subtle.
school-
Specific purple.
My high
It's
school
like
was
a
purple.
cool toned purple.
Yeah.
Like Jason Kelsey came out when he played the Chiefs wearing his like high school leather jacket and it looked pretty dope. And I was like, that's a cool fit.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, we were purple
Yeah.
and his was black. And I'm like, I'm
Not
not
the
busting
same.
out my like purple leather
Yeah.
Did
jacket.
he get all like, did people make fun of him for doing that? Or was it kind of like a respect?
I think they were
thing?
making fun of him because he was wearing flip flops and
Yeah.
shorts, and then
okay.
his leather
I think he looked
jacket.
badass. I thought it was cool. And I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to bust out the old leather
High
jacket.
school.
And then I remembered it's purple. Like
It's a
real,
non-starter.
just like
Do you know that some schools let you major in prom
What?
Prom?
if you go all 4 years?
Like in
Huh?
college?
No, like in high school.
what do you mean high school major?
Like not major. Letter.
Oh.
Letter and prom.
It's for losers.
That's crazy.
If you go all 4 years, apparently. There was a public school in my area where you could letter and
Our
prom.
education system is going into the trash.
Good letter. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of died.
Yeah.
The whole letters.
Anyway, prom. You're not. Do you have to? You're not even allowed to go to prom unless you get asked by a junior.
I went to
or
7.
senior.
You went to 7 proms? Oh my
Okay,
God.
flex.
Okay.
And
She's
an
a
all
wonder
girls school.
girl. She's a
She
wonder
went to
girl.
7 proms and an all girls school.
Only girls can do that. Like guys can't.
Yeah.
God, no.
No.
You get a rep.
Absolutely not.
You get a rep real quick.
Well, you're
Some
not. You're
proms.
literally not allowed to. Like where I went to school, you weren't allowed to go to prom. Like prom is for juniors and seniors.
Mhm.
You could go if you got asked by a junior or senior.
Right.
So like no fucking like every once in a while there'd be like a sophomore
Did you get
dating a
asked
junior.
by junior or senior?
No.
You didn't?
Did you do the asking?
When I was a junior.
Oh. But when you were a sophomore,
no.
you didn't get asked?
Mm.
Aw.
Although my first two, my freshman year and sophomore year, I did date upperclassmen.
But they didn't ask you to prom?
Flex.
Well, by the time I was a
Oh,
junior,
they are broken up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I didn't want to go.
No, of course. I'm so sorry to bring up this past trauma
I did
you
not
have.
want to go. Okay, Olivia,
Hi.
how's it going?
It's good.
We are excited to have you with us.
I am excited to be here.
We are breaking our Southern Charm cherry with you.
That's right.
Our first Southern Charm.
Flex
You're
Yes.
taking our
man.
virginity.
We had
Happy to do it.
Paige-
I'll be gentle.
we had Paige on, who's like Southern Charm adjacent, but she's more.
Oh, okay. Paige is on ours a good bit,
She is, but she's not.
thankfully. We needed
part
her.
of the cast.
yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't think of it as popping our Southern Charm cherry.
Yeah,
It's
I
hard
take
to
the
say.
cherry.
Southern Charm cherry.
Words are hard to say for you.
They are.
It's 9 a.m. Things are
Uh,
hard.
Are you? How are you? How are you? How was your heart? You're doing well. You're drinking coconut water. Some people come in here and rip shots at.
Oh, no,
9
I did that
a.m.
before I got here.
You did.
Yeah.
Would you like one?
give me
We
give me
have
some
a bar.
time.
We have hard
I
seltzer.
love that.
Yeah.
Anything to loosen you up. Yeah. But how are you? You've had quite a year.
Yeah, I'm good now, coming off the holidays, spent a lot of time with family and yeah, I can't complain at the moment.
Okay.
Better
So
in a
things
better
are-
place
things
than
are-
before.
yeah, because I mean, not to go back to a dark place, but I know we talked about before we started, passing of your brother was obviously very difficult.
Yeah.
And obviously you went through a lot. And is that something that you feel, it's not something obviously you ever really get over, but what has that healing process been like for you? And, where are you now compared to where things started?
Yeah, I would say, it's very gradual and very inconsistent, but I've been incredibly fortunate to have my close friends and family around me. And, Thanksgiving was very different this year, but we made the most of it. And honestly, it's like once the dust settles, and everyone kind of says that, like once the dust settles is when it like really hits hard,
Mm.
because like the commotion and the interaction you have with people when it happens kind of keeps you busy. And the show did that for me as well. So I was very grateful to have Charm during that time. But it's just figuring out a new reality. And there's been an outpouring of support and people sharing their same stories of loss.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a sad comfort in, relating to others with this, but it's been uplifting and we're just trying to shape the new reality.
What has helped you the most with dealing with this? Has it been hearing those other stories? Like what is something that, like that's helped you the most and maybe that you could pass on to others who maybe who are listening, who have experienced the loss of a loved one or a sibling, certainly a parent?
Yeah, definitely talking to others and just being patient with yourself, because there is no rule book on how to navigate grief in any sense. And so to just be patient. I remember someone reached out and said that to me just in a random DM, and it stuck with me because it's so true. Like just to allow yourself the feelings. If you're angry one day, if you're mad, like there's no wrong answer.
How would you recommend people who are kind of in your circle, deal with it? Even now, like I'm thinking about how to ask questions about this.
For
How do
sure.
I be delicate around this? And so how did your friends, your support system, What was that like in terms of people trying to offer you condolences, but not trying to bring it up, but that delicate, how to handle death like that?
Yeah, no, I totally get that because it's until you experience it, you don't really know. I mean, I was the same way when I had friends that lost loved ones, but it really is just like being there and then allowing the safe space to talk about it. Like, I know if there's stuff I want to talk about, they're there, and not to be afraid to bring it up. It is touchy and, it hits the heart, but it is medicine to talk about the person and to keep them alive in memory. And the only way to do that is to talk about them. So my friends asked me that question before, just let us know what you need. And the more we talk about it, the more comfortable they get. But yeah, don't be afraid to just, like you started this podcast, how's your heart?
Yeah.
Like a simple question like that goes a long way.
What do you miss most about your brother?
Oh man. Well, I miss being the youngest and getting away with things. Just his heart. He had the best heart. He was so kind, and everyone knew him. And I've always been known as Connor's little sister. And just his presence, that's the biggest thing. And the hardest part of this has been watching my parents. They're staying so strong for me, but I constantly want to remind them, they don't have to be strong for me. I can be there for them, and I'm the baby of the family. So that's an adjustment for them. It's just, talking, like I said, talking about him, keeping him alive within the family. And we all cope so differently, my mom constantly, she wants to be in his room every time she comes home. And my dad has a hard time looking at pictures. So it's all different, and you just got to be patient with each other. And, but yeah, I appreciate you asking.
Is there any awareness around, how he passed that you want to bring to light to the people listening? Because obviously his death was tragic and, just kind of a sad moment. But,
Yeah.
there's, a lot of any type of prevention or things that you've learned through the passing of your brother that, maybe you could pass along. I recently did special forces with Bodie Miller, who lost a daughter and she drowned. And, Bodie was so open about that and that experience of what it was like to, lose a child drowning. And, just how he talked about how he didn't, regret, not respecting water or, taking things for granted and his relationship with water in a
the
way.
precautions
And the
and stuff, too.
precautions you have to take and with Natalie and I being expecting parents, it was really eye-opening. It's like that balance between, okay, this is a dangerous thing, we have to be aware of it, but also how do you move forward with life without becoming afraid of everything?
Right.
How do you handle that in terms of how you lost your brother and becoming more aware of the dangers that are out there and what people face and yeah.
It definitely comes with the process of grieving, right at the beginning, the last thing I wanted to do was talk about it. And it's just been recent that I've felt comfortable, as well as checking with my parents and their comfort level. Cause it was a whole new experience, dealing with what was happening and then the extra layer of the show and what that brought on. So it was a whole new learning curve. But for him, he suffered majority of his adult life with Lyme's disease, and that is such a silent, deadly disease, and it's one of the hardest to diagnose because it's got such wide range of symptoms.
Yeah, I feel like it's not talked about at all.
It's really, I genuinely feel like it's a pandemic because we can't control tick bites. You cannot control getting but what you can control is the education, the research, and traditional doctors, we were fortunate to have the means to get the best help and travel and get answers. He didn't get diagnosed till 10 years after he had already been showing symptoms. And by that time, the traditional doctors were giving him Band-Aids, things, telling him it's in his head, giving him stuff for anxiety, giving him stuff for pain. And this is a 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid. So that's really where the problem started. And just to educate more and allow the functional doctors to move forward with their process and to just listen. Don't write off someone's symptoms. I remember him coming home from school in high school, and he was saying something about his eye. He kept being like, Olivia, does my eye look lazy? Like, I feel like I don't have any control of it. And as a 14-year-old, I'm like, what are you talking about? You look fine. Like, and it's just stuff like that constantly that kept growing and growing. And luckily my parents, they're just the best human beings in the world. They jumped on it immediately, but like they weren't met with like the best help, just to give someone medicine to make them feel better in that moment. That's not it.
It's hard because like you want to trust the doctor. So like when
Yeah,
they
you're very
say,
vulnerable.
it's anxiety, you're like, okay, maybe it could be anxiety. And then, but then it keeps happening and things keep evolving. And
You're
so
almost
I'm
thinking like,
sure-
great, anxiety. I'll just meditate or, or I'll just relax.
Right.
You're always hoping for good news when you go to a doctor. And when a doctor says, don't worry about it, that's usually good news unless.
Exactly. And so the like dependency started there with him, and that was the part that was difficult for me to talk about because it's just so quick for people to look at someone with a drug problem as like a partier almost, or like just another statistic. And there was just so much more that went into it for him, and the cause of death was fentanyl poisoning, and that's another pandemic I think we're in itself. And so, I mean, just really listening and taking the time to listen to your body and don't take no for an answer.
I feel like there's been so much. I mean, we've watched them all those shows on Netflix that's like about the Oxycontin.
Hulu, there's been a
pandemic
handful.
and,
The
what was
Michael
one?
Keaton movie.
Matthew Broderick. What was that?
Dope Stick. The one with Matthew Broderick was on Netflix. I wonder what that's
that was
called.
incredible.
Then there's one that just came out with Chris Evans. No.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris Evans. Yeah. Chris Evans. We just watched it. Chris Evans.
Is it Pain
and
Hustlers?
Yes.
Yes.
That's with Chris Evans
yes.
and
Yes.
Emily Blunt.
Painkiller.
And then
with
Painkiller is
Matthew.
Matthew Broderick. That was really good. And that one
Dope
was.
Stick was the first one with Michael Keaton.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right.
But I feel like it's bringing so much light and changing that kind of narrative of partiers, and like it really shows you how truly addictive and just how like these doctors were just throwing oxy
It's
at
a
any
business.
problem.
Yeah. And I do think my brother was a part of that like wave when that first started, because it was just pain medicine for everything. But it was difficult to talk about, but I've found therapy in doing so, and also if I can make any kind of difference in people's lives. I mean, people who talk about their Lyme's experience who reached out on Instagram, it's wild. It's all the same thing. It's all the same. Like, I went to the doctor, I was feeling this way, and they told me it's all in my head, and it's crazy, and it's sad. And I do hope that there's more awareness brought to it.
Can you test for Lyme disease?
You can. It's like a blood test, and they check for antibodies. But even if Lyme disease is in that first phase, the test can still come back negative. And the longer Lyme disease is in your body, the more harm it does. So it's really difficult to diagnose.
Wow. Yeah. My roommate has it, and it's something where like also just chronic illness as a whole, the way it can be like just so disruptive and invisible in everyday life and not feeling understood. And
is there a cure for it?
It's not. It's a long procedure of like medicines and IVs, and it's a long recovery.
Wow.
Yeah. It's also something where like access makes such a big difference, where it's like, because it's not like a simple, like you prescribe an antibiotic, you get better. Like, there's so many different like ongoing treatments that you need. And like, if you're not someone who has like access to really good healthcare that will cover that, or like some of it's not even covered by healthcare, then it's just
true. A lot of it isn't. Yeah. Good point.
Well, and I think part of it is because if it's diagnosed early, then antibiotics are helpful. But because the symptoms can be confused with so many other things, if it progresses too far, then it becomes more serious, and it's not just easily eradicated because of a few rounds of antibiotics.
Right.
Oof. To have like something that's so like gut wrenching and like central to who you are in the midst of, I know you were saying like in some ways charm, it was nice to have like something to keep you busy and stay going, but there was also kind of like in the midst of this like really gut wrenching experience in your life, there was this drama that like, in comparison seems so trivial. Like, what was it like kind of balancing those two experiences at the same time?
It was tricky. It was a doozy for sure, because my castmates stepped up so much when everything went down. The production team could not have been better and like let me have my time with my family. But then it's like we got back into it. Like I got back in with filming, and it just felt like someone pressed play, like
a switch flipped.
Yeah, it was like, and I I wasn't wanting sympathy. I wasn't trying to be a victim, but I just wanted a little bit more like understanding to where I was mentally. So to like have yet another sit down with Austen or Taylor or whoever else to talk about something that was just not on my mind was like, you watch me back this season, I look like a mute. Like I literally have nothing to say. I'm just like, okay. Cause it was just, I didn't care at the moment. And I got more and more frustrated, and I was constantly trying to control the emotion, because the last thing I wanted to do was like strike on someone and it be like misplaced emotion. So I just kind of kept quiet and got more mad.
Did you ever get frustrated with any of your castmates feeling like, because the switch flipped, it almost their sympathy prior to filming, did it feel disingenuous once filming started?
I mean, I couldn't help but feel that way. I hated it because they were there for me, but then for it to just like you said, the switch, I couldn't help but feel that in a sense.
I think what's I've recently got into Bravo. I've
Welcome.
watched Bravo. Thank you. It's really been a pleasure. Yeah, it's really been a pleasure. And what I love about it is just how much it really seems to really blend in with your lives. Like Bachelor World, there's a very distinct, like, you're in a bubble, you're filming, you're going through this like fucking social experiment. Yeah, once you're outside of the bubble, your life is altered and changed, and it's weird, but it's separate. And this is your guys' life ish. And it's kind of like what I find most fascinating about watching any of these Bravo shows is to figure out like what's part of the show, what's your life, is it both? And we have friends in Bravo World, and when we talk to them, it's like, what do they say? This is your life. Well, it's just kind of like, it's like they don't know the difference between being on the show or being in real life. It's sometimes I'm like, I don't want to talk about it, and then that's all they talk about. Because it's like, but I get it. It's so much of what you do, and it's really fascinating to watch. But filming it, I can't help but wonder. There's got to, for each of you, right? I feel like each of you must approach being on the show differently. And how do you handle being on the show? And how do you handle, having boundaries, so to speak, in your personal life? And I feel like everyone does that differently, where some people, like getting to know Tom Sandoval on Special Forces, he is Vanderpump. Vanderpump is him. It's his life. There is no starting and stopping. To me, like,
really,
it's just like, he is just the show must go on. Like,
is it because too he's like what he's going through, so it's like that it's just consumed him, or do you think it's kind of like that's been?
Well, I just recently got to know him, so I didn't really know Tom Sandoval 10 years ago, but it just seems like he's been doing this for 10 years. Everything he does relates back to being on Vanderpump.
Yeah.
Where it's like, how do you turn it off?
Yeah.
So to speak.
I can't imagine. I mean, granted, this is only my second season, and it like consumes you. I have to actively remind myself to like turn the brain off and not make it every conversation point. So I can't imagine, 10 years of that. Like that would be a lot.
How did you get on the show?
So big misconception here. Everyone thinks I was casted as like Austin's love interest, or like I was brought on because I was dating him. Incorrect. Fake news. I cannot stand that assumption.
Here to tell the truth.
Yes, I'm here to clear the air. So Leva was a family friend of ours, and my dad and her husband and my brother did business together. They invest in their restaurants, and so she called me, and I had met the other cast prior. My brother knew all of them, so he was kind of a bridge there too. But Leva called me one day, and she was like, "Hey, they're asking around if we have any people that we think would be good to bring on. I'm just going to put your name in." And I was living here at the time.
In LA?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was like, yeah, sure thing. Why not?
Doing
and
what?
I was a production assistant, and I loved it. I got everyone's coffee.
Yes.
And then I worked as an assistant to an acting coach. And she coached people who had already like booked the roles. So it was kind of cool getting to watch that process
so they, like
pass.
like Emily Blunt gets a role, and then she brings the script into the coach, and they
Yes.
work
Yeah.
the scenes
cool.
and kind of develop the characters.
So that was really
Yeah.
cool because I obviously sat in a lot being a production assistant during like the casting process and the
Right.
auditions, and that is so boring. It's the same scene, the same line, and everyone's coming in thinking they're doing it some special way, and you're like, nope,
Oh.
the
That
guy
was the
before you did
same.
it the same way. But have a good
No.
day.
Oh, no.
No, but so yeah, I was in LA at the time, and then it was a very gradual process. I was lucky to have time to like talk about it with my family and think about it, and not just sign a contract like the next week.
Mhm.
So
Are you from Charleston?
I grew up vacationing there. My parents have always had a place there, so it's
Okay.
always been like a second home.
Gotcha.
But this is the first time I'm like living there. And I don't know how I feel about living in the place you've always vacationed. Like, do y'all have that place where it's been like your escape place, and then all of a sudden it's like you're going to be now living there? It's an adjustment
Is it weird?
a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go from vacationing to now like hating everyone around you.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I used to love this restaurant because I had it once a year, and now I hate it.
Yes.
Yeah. That's funny. I'm from Savannah, and
Oh, nice.
we very much say that Charleston is like our rival city
Oh,
because we're so
totally.
similar.
Uh-huh.
But so
Charleston
people,
seems like we were there for a wedding not too long ago, and it's my first time, and I had been to Savannah. And it's like a cleaner, stuffier, boring version of Savannah. isn't it?
Charleston?
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
clean?
my.
You obviously haven't gone to King Street at night. There's nothing
No.
about it.
It just seems very pristine
Yeah.
and clean. Where Savannah, not that Savannah's dirty, but there's a little more. Savannah is like New Orleans grimy. Savannah less grimy. Charleston clean.
pretty.
Clean.
Clean.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of my read.
Yeah. Was that
Right.
your first time going when you went?
When I met her, I've
Okay.
been there several times now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you miss
Mhm.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. We just went back for Thanksgiving, and it's
It's a good
I love-
refresh.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love going home. I love just getting out of LA in general.
Yeah.
but going home, especially to Savannah, because my family has a like farm, but it's just animals.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
so
just so
nice.
nice to get away. Yeah,
That's culture shock.
Yeah.
Like leaving LA and going to
Yeah.
that. I do. I always wanted, my end goal was to move back home and be closer to my family. So when Charm came along, it was just perfect timing. It was right after the pandemic, so I
Mhm.
definitely want to be closer to home, and I love it. Everyone always asks, like, do you like it? And I'm like, we wouldn't do this if we didn't. 'Cause
right.
It's a little, it can be a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Let's get into the.
Ooh.
How about that shot?
Yeah.
Would you like one?
I do.
Nick
I would
will
love
take-
a
Nick will
shot.
take one with you.
Sure,
Will
yeah.
you take one with me?
Oh my god. Yeah,
He will.
sure.
He will.
Fine.
He took him with Lindsay Hubbard. He'll take
Yeah.
him with you.
Yeah.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
What would you like? We have tequila.
I do tequila.
Yeah. Get us the good stuff.
Thank you.
The good stuff. Mixologist Amanda.
Allie, would you like one?
Oh, Jesus. The last time when he did one with Lindsay, I was on like a juice cleanse
Oh.
that only lasted until like 6 p.m. every day. And I'd like eat something and then I'd start over the next day. And then Nick was like, will you do a shot with me and Lindsay? And I was like, I will hit the deck. I was
I
like,
will
I have
die.
only drank juice for the most part.
Yeah.
A bit of tequila because I thought that was also juice.
So are
Now,
you gonna have
while
one?
we wait for the shot, I'm really excited to break this down with you. When it comes to your friendship with Taylor, I'm wonder if it can be saved. That's what I want to find out.
Yeah. You and me
I'm
both.
less interested in your relationship with Austen being saved,
Yeah.
which I'm curious because watching it, you seem more interested in the possibility of saving your relationship with Austen than the possibility of saving your friendship with Taylor.
Yeah.
That's just
Just
how it
watching it. how
comes
it-
across.
Yeah.
Would you say that there's accuracy in that, or do you think that's more of a perception of what we're watching?
No, I mean, honestly, I starting out, like the beginning of the season when all this stuff was starting to happen, I was very adamant about saving the friendship. Like I said, that like Taylor's friendship is number one priority. And then just as the season went on, and the more I realized that friendship wasn't what I thought it was, I felt myself shift with Austen, and he's comfortable. You know, there were unresolved feelings there that I knew I needed to get over, but I hadn't. So I definitely like leaned into the comfort of what is me and Austen.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the shot.
Nice.
right.
Yeah.
We're gonna
I'm on
break.
East Coast time, so we don't have to count this as my breakfast.
No, it's lunch.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
5
wash.
o'clock somewhere.
Thank God for bubbly.
All right. Well, cheers to popping
All
y'all
right,
Southern
cheers.
Charm
All right.
cherry.
Cheers. All right, here we go.
I make the hottest faces after taking a shot.
Hell yeah.
Oh my. What
I
time
knew
is it?
this is why I flew back.
9:44 a.m. Clock that. Okay. All right. When did your friendship with Taylor really start?
My first season, so last season, season 8, I came in, she was Shep's girlfriend, and I just like instantly clicked with her. And then, producers saw us and saw how we interacted, and then we had more time together. And then when filming went away, I was with Austen, she was with Shep, and the 4 of us like traveled a bunch together, and we got really close.
And what about it? Like what did you love about the friendship? More specifically, like off camera. Like why did you guys bond?
We were just similar. We were both very, very close with our family. Our moms are very alike, and then our moms got close, and it was just same like sense of humor, and she just seemed like we hit it off really quick. And it is kind of like a nerve-wracking environment to enter into, so to like meet someone and hit it off with them. And, she was going through the breakup with Shep around the same time Austin and I were kind of dissolving. And so we leaned on each other a lot with that.
You
The
felt
breakup.
safe with her.
Yeah, for sure. And I confided in her with everything. And I, was there for her with the Shep stuff. And I was friends with Shep. She was friends with Austin. So it was like a weird, like she could kind of translate like what was going on. She was very much involved with Austin and I's situation. And
How so?
Well, she was close with him. Like they had a friendship that she got close with him long before I came along. And so she was always giving like good advice and could kind of come from a place of knowing both of us, which like a lot of my friends didn't know Austin, like, and didn't really understand like the show stuff. So I didn't have a ton of people to talk to about it. Taylor was like my go-to person with it. And she was always very much for Austin and I. Like every time I was thinking like it's time to just like call it quits, she would reaffirm like, no, he loves you, like you love him, y'all really should just like figure this out. So it was a safe space, and I didn't have many people to talk to about him.
I can imagine all the advocacy for you in Austin felt particularly hurtful once you found out that things were going on between her and Austin.
Yeah, that was the most hurtful part of it all, is thinking how much conversation was going on between Taylor and I, just to know that at that same time she was also trying to figure out her feelings for him.
Did it feel like a projection of her feelings for Austin while she was kind of talking to you about how great you and Austin should be or could be?
I've looked at it from all possible angles, trying to figure out where her intention lied. And I don't know. That's just another level of like, my brain doesn't even work that way. So to think about someone else doing that, I don't know. I wouldn't project my own hidden agenda onto someone else who I cared about, like their love life situation,
Yeah. At that stage, like, were you and Austin, do you think, like, if you had to kind of like put a percentage on it of like how close you might have been to like staying together or rekindling things, or like at the point that Taylor and Austin specifically kind of like shared allegedly a kiss and then kind of like went and talked to their families, like where were you and Austin at that exact point?
So, well, it's funny because nobody really has like a firm answer to when that happened, because they've changed their stories so many times. But what she keeps saying is it happened after New York while I was in California. So timeline of that.
Oh, we love a good timeline.
Yeah, because there seems to be, that's the missing character in this season, is like the timeline. But
I love a good
I
timeline.
left New York because we were at reunion. He and I had a falling out at reunion, and I went to California for 3, maybe 4 days. So she was saying it happened somewhere in there, almost as like an excuse, like, well, you were in California. And I was like, I was there for 4 days. And 4 days prior, you were
Someone
crying.
had to keep him warm.
Like 4 days prior, you were
Being a friend.
bawling over Shep. You were having a full-blown meltdown at our reunion. And you're consoling me at the same time with Austin. So,
Why did you and Austin have a falling out?
reunion just kind of showed me, it just opens your eyes to a lot of things. That's where people either have your back or they don't. And our whole relationship, I was constantly having his back. Like he would talk so much trash about Madison, and then that made me not like Madison. And I went on Andy Cohen's show and was like defending him. My first time on Andy Cohen's show, and I call Austen like a Range Rover. I know, because they said they used to like always joke and say he's like a Honda Civic, and I was like, no, he's a Range Rover. But
How do we feel like he is now? Definitely back to the Honda Civic.
Well, one
Mini
could
Cooper.
argue. Now
Mini
and
Cooper. Yes. He is a Mini Cooper. He's like the Mini Cooper, like sport men's.
Well,
like,
as
you're still
a-
a Mini
He's a
Cooper.
moped.
As a former Range Rover owner, Range Rovers are, and we're in the car market now. What? What are you looking at me for?
You just became so much cooler in my mind. Guys, can I tell you a
I'm
secret?
going to ruin this for you.
I had a dream. I had a dream the other night. And my dreams are very vivid. I was looking at my text messages, has Nick Viall at the top, and he goes, "Hey, just wanted to let you know, a brand sent me a Range Rover, which has been my dream car my entire life. But since I've allowed you to work from Minneapolis, it will be going to Derek."
That was a dream you had?
That was a dream I had, and
no.
I was distraught.
Oh no!
And I was like, he doesn't even have his license. Please let me have the Range Rover.
Allie, someday I hope I'm in a position to get you a Range Rover.
But what brand like sent you guys one for free?
That being said, Range Rovers are overhyped. They're poorly made. You could argue.
Aw.
Yeah,
Sad.
they're more showy
more
than they are.
showboat than
Quality.
dependability.
Yeah, they're glitchy. They are.
Oh,
So
alright.
maybe Austen is a Range Rover.
He is a little glitchy.
You know, a little glitchy.
This is why I drive a Mercedes.
Flex. Why did you guys break up in the first place? I mean, because it sounds like there was a lot of back and forth and conversations, and you guys did the whole like,
Super back and forth.
you know, we love each other, but like, you know, it's almost as a lot of relationships can go.
Mhm.
It's more or less, it's the drama that keeps you going. It's the intensity, but there's really no foundation of comfort and compassion and just, you know, feeling good, you know,
Yeah.
feeling normal. Like so many people discount in relationships, the feeling loved and the feeling safe and the feeling like, hey, I can trust you. Well, so many of us in relationships, especially when we're younger, we love that drama, that like the push and pull, the give and take. I hate you one day, but I love you the next.
Yeah.
Was that you guys?
I didn't want it to be if it was. I mean, we definitely danced with the terms boyfriend and girlfriend. It was like a commitment issue on both our ends. I'll own that too, because there was a time then that he was like, I want to date, I want to be together. And I was the one that pulled back. And then we were just in the gray area too long. And, you know, if you stay in there too long, something's going to happen to ruin it. And we did. We stayed in that too long. But I always say I wish he and I started as friends, because we get along so good on like a friendship level, like just surface friendship, like talk about movies and do movie quotes kind of thing, not like confide in him. But I think for me, figuring out like TV world, he's been in it so much longer than I have. And I went into things with him like 100% at the beginning. And I was a little nervous I think the show stuff kind of made me hesitant. But then when cameras left, that we really were together. Like that's when, whether or not we said boyfriend and girlfriend, like we were very much together. We traveled together. I spent holidays with his family. We told each other we loved each other. So that's like the big confusion on viewers' end. Like they're like, were they ever really together? And I can understand why they think that, because it was confusing all during the season because we were being very wishy-washy. But when cameras left, we were together. And the person that was involved in that and understood that the most was Taylor. So to watch her back this season say, were they ever really together? Like that's kind of like what changed things for me on the friendship front.
Like
Not to bring it back to that, but just
using your one-on-one conversations as friends against you.
yes. Yeah. Because she of all people knew we were together. She was the one I would talk to about this stuff. And she's the one that would tell me he loved me. So
Together or not,
we're together or not. Yeah.
as your friend,
Yeah.
she should know how you felt. You know,
Yes.
yeah, we can criticize whether you guys properly define the relationship, and certainly you guys had your issues in a relationship, but as your friend, your understanding was she knew how you felt about him.
Yes. And I think too, with Austen, I always knew like I wanted it to be him. Like I wanted us to work out because it was fun with us, and I did fall for him. But, you know, at the end of the day, I knew he wasn't right. And I think that's what it was. It's like kind of making me hesitant. And then he was hesitant for his own reasons. So just, I don't know. I want to say it was kind of doomed from the start, but we got really close there. And I do, when all this stuff went down, I more missed him as like a friend than anything else. Like,
do you think Austen, the TV personality, played a role in why Austen, the human, stopped you from being in a relationship? Because it just seems like, especially with this kind of OG cast, the more of the people who've been on it for a while, they're professionals.
Yeah.
They know how to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they're really good at being authentic on the show, that's a skill.
It's a skill
that they have to develop. And it is hard for them to turn off because, again, the lines get so blurred
Mm-hmm.
between being on the show and being off the show.
Yeah.
That, do you feel like that affected the chances that you guys had of working out?
1000%. I think that was a huge part of it. And coming back to Reunion, that was the first time that I saw him, because I'm not filming with him.
Mhm.
You know, we have like scenes separate talking about each other. So Reunion was the first time on camera that I just saw him totally drop the ball as being like my person and stepping up the way that I thought he would after I had like been there so much for him and like defended him. And like Madison at the time was coming at me for stuff, and Austen just sat there like silently. And I just remember the blood like draining from my face, and I don't think I spoke the rest of the time. Like I was just so
I know that feeling.
bummed. Yeah. It's
when
just
like you're filming a show and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like,
we just had 8 months off camera of you like becoming my person.
and there's a
and
performance
then,
going on.
yeah. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden to see it back. Yeah. What was your experience with that?
I mean, being on The Bachelor, there's always moments. It's, again, different setup, but
Yeah.
there'll be little moments where it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Right.
you know, like,
Right.
what is,
It's such a mind fuck.
where is this?
Where's this
Where
coming
were
from?
you like 2 hours ago? Like, what is this performance you were putting on? You know,
Uh-huh.
some people, like, they are performing, and
Yeah.
other people are more authentic.
Yeah.
Back to your friendship with Taylor. She obviously is going through a lot with
Mm-hmm.
her breakup with Shep. I mean, I really felt for her when that scene where Shep said he enjoyed cheating on her. What a horrific thing to say to someone. I was equally, maybe disappointed is the wrong word. I empathize with Taylor anymore. I don't know why she chose to later that night spend the night with him
I don't
in the
either.
same bed. I don't know if they
I
hooked up.
advised
There was,
against it.
but I felt for her, and I felt for her because, you know, she's an adult. She can make her own choices, but, and I don't know anything about Taylor, the human being, other than what I've watched, but I can relate, and I have a lot of friends who can relate to that. You feel broken. Like I've been broken by relationships. You know, I have been broken by heartbreak, where you look back and you know, for periods of time, you're just like, that was not my best self. You know, you're in survival mode. It's literal fight and flight, you know, and you're not in the right headspace. You know, you're making out of character decisions because that person that you've trusted and relied on so much has just broken and beat you down, that you feel like the only thing that can get you through another day is that validation or just a little bit of affection from that person who broke you so much.
100%.
And Shep clearly seems like a low character person from my read. You know, the three amigos. You know, I can't fucking tell them apart, to be honest. I truly can't. They sound the same. They fucking look the same. I can't believe they're not fucking brothers. They're doing this like Andy Cohen raspy like voice. Like, are they constantly yelling? What the fuck is going on?
Right. Somebody said that. I was like, their voice sounds like they just screamed into a pillow right before getting on. I'm like, that's so true. I think they've all popped some kind of vocal cord, because their voice hits all octaves at once.
It is fucking nuts. But that all being said, you know, I'm not trying to make excuses for Taylor, but she seems to be down bad, so to speak. And it seems like Shep really fucked her up, and she's making choices that don't know anything about her, but you did become friends with her. You must have seen a lot of good in this person.
Yeah.
And I am just wondering, do you think there's a possibility that 6 months from now, 12 months from now, Taylor might look back and just be like, who was that person? Why did I do this? And try to make amends. Do you think that's possible?
I would like to think so. I do think it's possible. But I just think she has to kind of like understand the severity of it, like why it got to the point that it did. Like, I don't know. I think in her mind, genuinely, I don't think she understands the level of betrayal. I don't know. I don't know if she understands why I get so upset. And I'm only saying that because like the rest of the season, our big argument, she's like, why are you so upset? Like
Well, the lake house scene, you confronted her and you were literally like, I think you both fucked. You point blank said it to her. And it was kind of bizarre because afterwards, you were just like, you kind of go into your ITM and you're like, I don't think I can be friends with you, and you leave. But like her response to that accusation was kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
Because there was almost like no response.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, okay, well, sorry to feel that way.
Sorry to feel that way.
Like, I don't know what the right response, but like, you clearly obviously still think they did more than kiss.
I do.
Yeah. And you think they had sex. Do you think they had sex multiple times? Do you think this was an ongoing hookup, or do you think this was a one and done?
No, I think it was an ongoing hookup.
So it's interesting, when it comes to lying, I've learned. Lying, I'm not a good liar. I valued honesty and trust and loyalty with the people I bring in my circle. And if I'm lied to, it's a damaging thing that's hard to rebuild. But there's a reason why people lie, in a sense, because they feel stuck and they feel trapped and they don't know
Shame.
They feel shame,
Mm-hmm.
And there's almost like, well, if you just tell me, then I'll forgive you. But that person's thinking, no, you won't.
Right. It's not going to be
It's like a
just that.
setup.
Yeah.
I guess my question to you is, if Taylor came clean and she sat you down and she said, Olivia, first, I'm so sorry. I've lied to you. I'm ashamed of myself. I've lied to you multiple times. I don't know where the lies begin and the truth starts. Again, I'm sorry. We did sleep together. We slept together multiple times. And I knew, honestly, if I look back in those moments where that was happening, I think there was a part of me that always knew what I was doing was wrong and I was being a terrible friend, but and it's not an excuse, but I was fucked up and I'm really trying to be a better person. Do you think you could forgive her?
I know it's easy to say this sitting here, but the answer is yes. Like, it would have stung. My ego would have been incredibly bruised. I probably would have not talked to her for a good bit, but I would have eventually been able to forgive her and move forward. Probably not nearly in the same, category as friends as we were, but I can understand that. I can wrap my head around that. I can wrap my head around dabbling in an area for curiosity and having a close friendship with someone and then start questioning that. Like, I really, really can wrap my head around that. And I wish, and I told her when we were filming, I said, stuff's coming out, like, just be honest with me, because if you keep letting the truth trickle out, it's going to get worse. Like, I had that conversation with her and she swore it to my face that there wasn't anything else. And then in another conversation, she was saying, I do think Austen still like cares about you and loves you. And I'm just like, what? It's not about Austen. Like, I felt like I had to beat that into her head this season. Like, it was not about Austen. It was about the total disregard of like you caring about our friendship because you're protecting him or protecting, what would happen to y'all. But I'm literally sitting here telling you that we can be okay, but just be upfront with it. Because we had that conversation on camera. I was like, if more stuff keeps coming to me from other people, like, the less I'm going to be able to believe what you're saying. And that's going to put us in a terrible place as friends. And I didn't want where it's at now. I didn't want the like team Olivia, team Taylor, but I knew it would get here if she couldn't just own up to stuff. And that's why I was just like throwing her so many like life rafts of like, please tell me the truth, please tell me the truth. And that's why I stayed so calm in so many of our scenes or conversations together, because I wanted to be okay with her. I really did. I did not want to lose that friendship at all.
Well, you also defended her. Like, I was so impressed. Like, I thought it was incredibly high character in the times when people, there was kind of like all together, it started to be a pileup, and you like interjected and said like, don't do that. And I think you went really out of your way to kind of try to compartmentalize, and like you showed up to her Bay Chaser event, like, just things where it was like it was clear that you were playing the long game with friendship, even if things weren't great in the moment. And so for you to be able to have that kind of like tunnel vision and be so mature, and then in return have her not be able to like meet you there must be really like disappointing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. That was the disappointing part, because like during filming, I thought she was meeting me there. Like the conversations and stuff we were having, I thought we were on the same page of like, let's make this friendship a priority. It wasn't until I watched the episodes back, like when everyone else did, that I was like, oh, you're having very different conversations with people. Like you're telling me you're very sorry and didn't mean anything, blah, blah, blah. And I believed that. And that's why I kept moving forward with her. But then to see her get in the car immediately after that conversation with me and call Austen and say I was well within my rights, y'all weren't even dating, I would have had more respect for her to have that conversation with me than to have the one she had with me. Like, I would have rather you come to me and been like, look, y'all were weird, y'all were confusing, I had feeling, like I could have had that conversation with her. So that was where, for me, things took a drastic turn in the friendship.
So where I felt like I don't know, but where I felt like I knew she was lying was when she said to you, I think she said it to you, it would just be easier if I told you that we hooked up. That's a classic Jax Taylor line.
Jax Taylor.
I think Jax Taylor said that multiple times to people. If I would just be easier if I told you, like I think every person who's like down bad on a lie, that's like their saving, that's their line. It would just be easier. I would just tell you the truth, like it's like, she fucking did it. But what about Austen? You're still talking to Austen. What has Austen, I'm assuming, it sounds like he's still also lying, though. Have you heard different things from Austen that you've heard from Taylor? Because they seem to be still in cahoots.
Taylor and Austen?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they'll always stay friends. Like,
No, I just mean like
as far as like
what happened?
The story.
The story.
Well, I was very adamant about like not asking Austen any questions, because I didn't care for I knew he would have some cushioned, sugar-coated response, and I was just wanting to keep the focus on me and Taylor. So Yeah,
but don't you want to know the truth?
I just didn't think I was going to get it from him.
Fair enough. But then I guess what I'm saying is everything you're saying about Taylor makes a lot of sense to me. All the reasons that you're hurt, but you do seem, if I'm going to challenge you a little bit, to be giving Austen a pass that you're not giving Taylor.
Yeah.
And there is that classic, like when it comes to relationships and infidelity, it just seems like the guys get off the hook or the other party gets off the hook. And it's just easier to blame her, whoever her is, or the friendship, where it took two. And you two were in the relationship. You and Austen were the ones saying, I love you. And maybe you and Taylor said, I love you to each other as well. But you seem to be willing to hold Austen less accountable than you're willing to hold Taylor.
I mean, that's not the first time I've heard that. And I completely understand it being that way. I almost expected this from Austen, and not using that as like an excuse so he can do it and be okay with it. But like the shock of it all came more with Taylor, and not necessarily like what she did, but just the continuing to protect Austen, like the stuff she was saying to me of like not being truthful about what happened. I knew she was saying that because she was trying to like protect Austen and not have him. Do
you really think Austen? I think she's just trying to protect herself.
I've just been in that position before where I want to like protect Austen in a situation where I shouldn't have. So I kind of recognized it in her, but I mean herself as well. But I mean, isn't that
isn't that Austen kind of flexing his power and influence of this group? And this, again, these fucking guys seem to like have this, you know, when Shep's just like, we're just terrible fucking people,
Yeah.
you know, where it's just like, we fucking suck. So like, no one should expect us to be like,
because we're admitting to it, so we should be able to like.
yeah, and they get some sort of pass where, and then they, you know, through, it seems like kind of these channels off camera, and there's like secrecy of like just protecting the group or protecting the show, and we don't want to get these guys against us. There's this level of power they seem to flex sometimes, where yeah, maybe at times people like Taylor or other people, it comes across as like protecting Austen, but at the end of the day, Austen, if they hooked up multiple times or even one time or whatever they did, Austen was there, and Austen knows the truth, whatever the truth is.
Yeah.
And so as someone who has a strong opinion about what that truth is, you think they hooked up, multiple times, but you don't know for sure.
No, it's a total gut feeling. There's like zero evidence.
I'm just shocked that you wouldn't. How could you ever be in Austen's presence without just being like, fucking tell me if you ever cared about me, tell me what happened, just so I can know. So once you, because like just the truth will set you, if nothing else, think of all the energy you've invested in wondering what the truth is. Even when you think to yourself, I know it fucking happened. You know, there's, I'm sure, moments where your mind's like wondering, well, maybe it didn't, you know?
Yeah.
And the energy you're investing in not knowing the truth. And Austen knows the truth.
Yeah. I think like moving forward or like moving on from the friendship, I just kind of like let go. It's almost like the truth is irrelevant at this point. There's been several different ones. The fact that it's taken this long for the truth to come out, if it has, is like enough of an answer for me to where I'm like, okay, I know, you know, I think I misjudged the friendship with Taylor. Not anything against her. I think I might have expected too much too soon. So I didn't feel like there was some great loss with moving forward without her. I really did fight for the friendship and I didn't want us to get here, but I did make the decision to like, I'm done here. Like, I don't want to try anymore. I don't care to. And I had that with Austen as well. Like, I was ready to move on from him. I think I certainly, like I was saying before, slipped into the comfort of Austen and like my unresolved feelings for him this season. You know, like I know I needed to get over him, but it's just like unnatural to like be around the person and interact with them. That just is a bit of a setback. So I think I fell into that. Not anything on him. Like it's me. Like I'm well aware it was my feelings, and I started like things got into question. And once I realized Taylor wasn't the friend I thought she was, and like conversations she was having behind my back, then I kind of just like started leaning into the Austen part of it. And it was during, not an excuse at all, I'm not using this by any means, but it was like just during a time where my head was so fuzzy, like I really wasn't thinking straight, and I just craved normalcy and I just craved comfort. And I had that in Austen for so long. And that's like really where I like shifted in the season of realizing like, okay, Taylor's not my friend anymore. Here's Austen making an effort to be back in my life and telling me he cares about me. And I leaned into that. And I totally see why it looks like I'm letting him off the hook more so than her. And maybe I did a little bit just to have him back in my life because I had already kind of accepted that I don't think Taylor was going to be in mine anymore.
Yeah, I think we've all, well, I don't know if we've all been, but I feel like I've been in your shoes before, and it's a very relatable position to be in. And yeah, it's, you know, sometimes with friends, we, you know, because they're our friends, we want to hold them to a higher standard. In a weird way, we let our partners or people we're interacting with off the hook because there's some, I don't know, there's some sort of like hall pass we give them to be messy with our feelings in a weird way. But
that is a good way to, I mean, that's true.
When was the last time you talked to Austen?
So we have mutual friends that have this sick place in the Bahamas, and he and I both got them in the divorce. So like they invited us both on this trip and with like a group of people, and we both went. I took the guy I'm seeing and he took his new girlfriend, and we were able to just like put our bullshit aside. We're around these like adults and people who don't give a shit about the charm drama. So we were in Bahamas together.
When was that?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Wow.
And there was no hanky-panky. When was the last time you guys hooked up?
Oh, Austen?
Yeah.
I mean, like when we were back together, like openly. So Bravocon of not this Bravocon. Last year. Yeah.
Okay, so it's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
And would you say that you are fully moved on and cleansed from Austen?
I do feel that way. I think I'm always going to have a soft spot for the friendship because it's just, I don't know.
Speaking of Bravocon, I heard something happened this year.
What?
I heard there was a little yelling match between you and Austen.
Oh, I was thinking Housewives. Yes,
Oh.
that did happen. That did happen.
Can you elaborate on
Yeah.
what happened?
So we did the Southern Charm panel, and first time we're all on stage together since filming. So it's a little heated, but we knew to go into it and make it like more positive. Don't hone on the drama. And I can't remember, someone's question to Austen was like, it was something about like you lied to or how should you have approached it better with Shep, with the Taylor thing? I can't remember it, but Austen proceeded to say, well, what was I supposed to do? Just like lie to Shep and keep talking to Taylor and then lie to him again? And I interrupted and I said, well, that's what you told Taylor to do
I
with
remember
me.
that, yeah.
And, the audience had a reaction. It's so funny. Someone has like a picture or like a video of him after that happens. And he's just sitting like this on the panel, just like in thought, like, what do I say? What do I say to recover? So anyways, we get off the stage and I'm walking by him. I just see him look at me and he was like, fuck you, Olivia. Fuck you. Like
Austin said this?
he just got so mad because it's like, he gets himself in these situations, people react and have an opinion, but he needs someone to blame for it. So because I initiated a conversation that had other people like booing him,
It's your fault.
it's my fault.
Yeah.
Like, how are you the victim in any of this? Well, wait, no, the perpetrator. You are the victim. How are you the person?
I thought you were like saying that to Austin. Like, how are you
Yeah,
the
I am
victim,
saying this to
Austin?
Austin, yes.
But so that just got heated and I was eating like a bag of peanuts because I was fucking starving and I just like threw it out. That's how mad I was. I just threw away my snack on his face. And like our people were like separating us and we were just screaming at each other. And then went to the Bahamas 4 days later.
Is it JT? Is that JT? That's his name?
Short one.
That one.
Yeah. When is he going to just admit that he's obsessed and in love with Taylor?
Well, I mean, he does.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah.
But he's pretending to be her friend. Stop. They're not friends. You are obsessed with her. It's fucking
I
weird.
think he
Like
definitely.
Like at Bravocon, when they were like, what do you like most about Taylor? Also, I find this super annoying. And listen, I love Jesus as much as the next guy.
She
But when
loves the Lord.
But when the first words out of your mouth are, well, she loves the Lord. First of all, that's not a quality that she has. That's something you have in common. That's a mutual interest. So that you both love the Lord. So first of all, you didn't talk to me. You didn't say anything about who she is as a person. You're just like, it's a fucking cop-out. I fucking hate it when people do shit like that. I'm not a fan.
Of JT, not the Lord.
No, love the Lord.
Love
JC, not JT.
All the Lord, love him. Not JT.
Amanda, love JC.
Not JT. Yeah. He's like the classic guy who's just like,
Doing the most.
doing the most. He's shopping at stores he has no business to shop at, so to speak. It's like,
Yeah, that's something my boyfriend was saying. Like, you never underestimate the patience of a heterosexual man. Like, never, never, never. Like, they will play the long game in an insane way.
it's not just men. Like we talked to plenty of women on this show who are fucking around with people who they're pretending to be friends and they're in these situationships and they do things like, JT's like, well, he'll clearly he's the type of guy who would drop anything for Taylor. He would take her to a picnic. He would take her shopping. He would do anything. And then he would like talk to his buddies and be like, well, we do all these boyfriend and girlfriend things. I don't know why she doesn't fucking love me. Like, you're fucking pathetic. Anyways, I just had to get that out. And then
I got in a huge fight with him, like one of our parties, and I called him Lord Farquaad. And I was like,
Valid.
I'm gonna be in
Valid.
so much trouble. But then he was Lord Farquaad for Halloween, so I was like, safe.
oh, good for him for leaning in.
Yeah, lean in.
And Rod, is it Rod? Rod.
Rod. We have two Rods. There's Rodrigo and then Rod. Which one are you?
The one you
Rod.
Rod.
had no business even entertaining.
Yeah. Dude, I will tell, like, Rod is such
A nice guy.
good.
Great. Sure. Wonderful. I don't give a fuck.
Gentlemen.
Yeah. And and he's like, I think we should date. You're like, like not. I mean, you were a little bit of a fuckboy in that moment.
Yeah, no, I'll
But I
own
think
that
you
for
had to be.
sure.
He set you up. Well, no.
No, I take the blame 100% because like before he came on the show, I had like drunken makeouts with him downtown. Like I put the moves on him, and then when the show started, I immediately like recluse. I was like, oh no, like I don't.
He's like, I love you. Oh my God. I love you.
No, I mean, it was me. I was the fuckboy in that. I was the Austen in that situation. I definitely like.
You're like, well,
kind
I'm
of.
still dating other people, which is basically code for saying, listen, like if it all goes to shit and no one else will date me, then sure, we could, yeah,
We can go to dinner.
We can go to dinner.
No, I've apologized to him profusely for
Okay.
that, but it was kind of fun being a fuckboy for a bit.
Yes, everyone deserves a fuckboy era.
I agree.
Yeah.
Something I did want to touch on was I was kind of confused of like what to make with Taylor's like. There's a lot of confusion about whether or not it was a nude that she sent to Whitney.
Ah, yes. Thank
And
you.
it was kind of a complicated situation because on one hand, I think it's really destructive and shitty when people share like photos like that with other people. So in some ways it
Watermark
felt
your
weird.
nudes.
Yeah, watermark your nudes. Thank you, Lala. So it was kind of confusing because on one hand it feels like a real violation to be showing that to people. On the other hand, really feels unhinged and bizarre for her to maybe have sent that to Whitney. And like, what did you make of that situation?
That's a really good point because I think it's like equal both sides, but I just feel like just be a bit quicker on the mark. If you're going to do something like that in our group of friends, you got to be prepared to face it and talk about it because that's, like just so that's where like one side of it was. And I told her like when she like let me know she did that, I was like, oof, Taylor, I don't know. It's too late because you already did it, but I just want you to know it's probably going to be talked about at some point. So I just think about it. Like, our job, what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to talk about. So there's plenty of other fish in the sea to send your nudes to. Not so much in Charleston, but like maybe your ex's friend isn't the one to do it to. But
To caption it. Come on, come on.
Dude, Madison went in, talk about an uncomfortable dinner and her talking about that. And that was my first time back filming since I had been like away.
Oh, wow.
So I just like sat down at that table to see like what I miss. And then they started talking about the nude that I was prepared to take to my grave because I was just prepared to do that. So then when that was like discussed at the table, I was like mid bite of steak and I was like, oh shit.
Oh, no.
Taylor's down bad.
I really, I mean, I don't wish this on her. I hate what she's going through. She's also going through like a personal tragedy. She lost her brother a few months after me.
Oh.
And so like I don't like the situation she's in. Like I hate it and I wanted to be there for her as a friend and I just gotta, I don't know. She's got a great support system. She's got good friends and I'm never trying to like dump on her even more, but I didn't really take up for myself during the season. I didn't say much explaining where my head was and I felt like I should be able to do that, but not in a way to like put her down more. I just wanted to simply explain like what I was thinking during the show, but not to take away from her.
I have a question about Taylor. I don't want you to answer right away because it's time for texting office hours. And so we're going to help someone else with their relationship problem.
Okay.
And then I have some other questions about your peers. Taylor, you became friends with her. You haven't even known her for that long. So do you think she is a person who generally has good character, but right now is just down bad? She's gone through her loss of her brother, her very toxic and unhealthy relationship with Shep, and that she is just not the best version of herself right now? Or do you think that, yeah, she's got some really good qualities and charming and fun, you had a nice friendship, but the more you got to know her, you realize that at the end of the day, maybe she just doesn't have the type of character you thought she had as a friend, and that you've simply given up on her character? Don't answer.
That's a good question.
All right, well, it's time for texting office hours. And when we come back, we'll help a caller out. DraftKings Casino. Step into a world of non-stop action at DraftKings Casino. If you're feeling lucky, play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots, plus enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. All you have to do is sign up, select the offer, make your deposit, and start playing from a full suite of games. It's so much fun. It's just a great way to keep the energy high, the action high. It's a lot of fun. You can all your favorite games and so many more. And it's amazing what you can win. Download the DraftKings Casino app now and sign up with promo code Viall Files. That's VIALLFILES. New customers get a deposit match of up to $500 in casino credits when you deposit $5 or more. Only on DraftKings Casino with promo code Viall Files. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 years or older. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. One per opted-in new customer. Minimum $5 deposit. Max match 500 in casino credits, which require one-time playthrough within 7 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. How's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Good. What's your name?
I'm Riley and I'm 25.
How can we help, Riley?
I just got engaged over Thanksgiving and I need help telling my ex-best friend that she's not only not standing up in my wedding, but she is not going to be invited.
Ooh. First of all, congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, round of applause. Why aren't you guys friends?
Man, where do I even start? We were best friends in college. We met because we did this mutual, I don't even know if you want to call it internship. And over time, we just kind of, I guess not like lost touch, but she has been just acting very different. Like she's been having a lot of bad behavior as a friend. She thinks that we're still friends, and I'm kind of on that train of not wanting to be friends anymore.
So she didn't kiss your boyfriend?
No,
Okay.
she did not kiss my boyfriend. He does not like her also.
Not relatable.
What is this bad behavior that you speak
Oh
of?
man, quite a few things, honestly. I wrote down a list if it's okay.
Oh my.
Get that list out.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it laminated?
Well, just a few things. Like I notice every time we're together, if things aren't going her way, then she'll lash out at me, whether it's something small, like, you know, maybe if I'm like leaving a party and I don't say goodbye, or there was something that recently happened. I'll get into that in just a second, but she never comes to me. She lives in the city that we're nearby and I'm in the suburbs. So it's just like a lot of her expecting me to go out of my way and see her. And then anytime we are together, if I'm with her the entire day, she'll just be mad. If it's like 8 hours and we've been drinking all day, I'm like, hey, I need to get home. I need to go see my dogs. She'll lash out at me if I don't spend enough time with her, basically.
She seems obsessed with you.
Yeah, there's another layer to it too, that I think she might be in love with me, and I'm not just saying that.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, wow. That is another layer.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to it.
Have you ever confronted her about any of this behavior?
Yes, actually. So I confronted her back in March. She had this big birthday thing at a bar. Again, it was in the city. So it took me about like 2 hours to get there sitting in traffic. So I didn't eat all day. And that has something to do with later in the story. So we go to this bar. She invites way too many people. She's not really talking to the group of friends that we had because, again, we met in college. So she's talking to everybody else except for us. So we're hungry. We go next door. She thought we were leaving. So she had this big lash out at us at the bar. And I said, no, like we're coming back. But she didn't want to hear it. It was just awkward after that. So we're like, okay, well, we'll get food. She's clearly mad at us and we won't come back. then the next morning she texts my other friend and I, we'll call her Kaylee, because Kaylee and this friend of mine all were good friends in college. So she texts Kaylee and I, and she says, you know, it was really shitty what you guys did, just leaving me on my birthday. She's one of those that's like her birthday, it's, you know, center of attention type of deal. She's also an only child. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but yeah, she sent us this long paragraph, just like saying a bunch of rude things, honestly. And so my response was, hey, let's talk about this in person because this feels like it's been building up. So talked to her in person after a few weeks, and it was Kaylee and I, and we sat down, and at first it was a little awkward. No one really wanted to bring it up at first. But through conversation, we finally got there. She just stopped and said, okay, so what happened on my birthday? And I was trying to explain the exact same situation to me, but then it just turned into another incident where she just lashed out at me. She was calling me shady because I was trying to leave. She was saying I'm a bad friend, you know, this, that, and the fifth. So yeah. So I ended up actually leaving that conversation feeling worse. And so did Kaylee.
So it didn't seem like she was all interested in finding common ground. She just wanted to vent and then expected you guys to just apologize.
And that's how it always goes.
Yeah,
and my boyfriend, or sorry, my fiance, wow. My fiance has caught on to this as well. He's very supportive of just me. He's never liked her from the beginning, and I did not know that until I asked him one day for his opinion, and he said, she's not a good friend to you, and listed out a bunch of reasons. And she actually wasn't even invited to the engagement party.
It always usually takes like an outsider, not that your fiance is an outsider, but someone coming in new to really like call out the things, because you just kind of condition your mind to think like what's happening is normal. So like kudos for him.
Yeah, it's always a fine line when you have like parents or loved ones or friends or partners who are supportive but not like helicopter, you know, so they'll kind of mind their own business, but when you ask or you break up, they're like, yeah, I fucking hated them. And you're like, well, I could have used that now, but you realize they told you at the right time, you would have been defensive and gotten mad, so you kind of had to figure it out yourself, all that shit.
Yeah, he's very direct.
Well, I mean, listen, you know what you want to do, and I'm not hearing from you that. My guess is you probably called and you're thinking, what's the nicest, easiest way to let this person know without creating a lot of drama and conflict and yada, yada, yada. And I guess my answer is I don't know if that's possible. And I don't really know if you need to care. I love to find reasons to figure out, you know, because in life, friends, you're going to have conflict with friends, you know, friends, especially that you meet earlier in life, they'll let you down. They might lie to you, they might betray you, you know, but sometimes you have to fight through those things because no relationship is perfect, no friendship is perfect, et cetera, et cetera. But it sounds like with this particular friend, you have reflected to the point where you're just like, our friendship's more based off of history, you know, living in the same fucking dorm, going to the same parties. But at the end of the day, I just don't know if I have a lot in common. And when I've tried to mend these fences, it continues to be one-sided. It continues to be like, what have you done for me lately? She can't see the forest through the trees. She can't get out of her own fucking self-centered bullshit. And you're just kind of like, I quit, which you have the right to do. You know, like I say, if you've listened to this show, like when it comes to breakups, you have to let the other person think you're a bad guy. You know, when you want out of a relationship, you don't get to be the hero in the breakup when you want out. You know, if you want out, you have the right to go out, but they have the right to be mad at you and upset with you and say you're this and say you're that.
But it doesn't make your decision wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't. Exactly. And so I don't know if there is a way to do that. So then the second part of that question is then knowing that there's no way to express to her, hey, listen, not only are you not invited to my wedding, you're not standing up, but I really don't want to be friends with you anymore. There's just no world where she's going to like take that well, you know? So the question you have to ask yourself is like, how do you want to go? What do you think is the right way? Like, do you think she deserves a face-to-face conversation? Do you think this is just a simple text? Like, I don't think there's a wrong answer. But I really think the choice is yours and how you handle it. Not to push it back on you, but I just think you're trying to do the impossible when you think you just have to accept that your decision is your decision and you don't have to feel guilty about it, even though you do feel bad, and that's okay. But it's, as Olivia said, doesn't make it wrong.
How did she find out that you got engaged? Did she see it on social media? Did you text her?
So I got engaged the day before Thanksgiving. And then not for any reason, I posted it on Thanksgiving. So then she texted me, congratulations, let's meet up sometime soon and catch up. And the last time I saw her, she didn't even know that I was getting engaged anytime soon because my fiance doesn't talk to her. She said, I can't wait to stand up in your wedding. And I was like,
Oh, wow. She
Mm.
was kind of planting the
It's
seed
hard
there.
too
Yeah.
because, like you said, Nick, she has been a really good friend for me in the past. And I know not to dwell, on the history that we've had, but she has been there for me with like previous boyfriends. If, I was in a pretty verbal abusive relationship before, she was there for me. And when friends from other friend groups that she's not a part in, when they weren't being the best to me, she was there for me. But at the same time, those are the girls that will be standing up in my wedding. So I can see her looking back and saying, well, these people were not so nice to you, but I don't think she's self-aware, I guess.
And how are you able to mend fences with these friends who are going to be standing up in your wedding?
Yeah, we were able to actually have that raw and honest conversation, and they noticed, what they did wrong. And anytime that we can sit down and talk about our not only differences, but times that we've wronged each other, it's reciprocated and they genuinely mean the apology. Whereas like with her, every time I try to talk to her, like her and I are both really bad at confrontation. So anytime there is confrontation, it goes like 0 to 100.
Do you think she has a hard time, I guess, making, or more importantly, keeping friends in general?
I know she does because when we were both in college, she didn't have any friends and neither did I until probably like a week before I made friends with these people who were kind of from my hometown and just, I don't want to say brought her in, but we all just slowly started hanging out. And she would tell me time after time, like, thank you so much. I was thinking about even transferring or dropping out. But, ever since I met you, like my life has changed type of deal.
This is going to affect her. When people get broken up with, they want closure. They want to know why. They want to understand why. And are you willing to have that? She may not hear you. She may not listen. She may argue with you. But are you willing to communicate why you're not willing to be friends with her anymore and give her examples, whether she receives it or listens? She's going to argue with you, but you can still hear it. Maybe she'll down the road realize, but are you willing to do that?
Yeah, I'm definitely open to it. I'm just a little nervous for the last time I tried to confront her. Like you said, she doesn't listen to it. And that's where that's
Well, I
maybe
mean, you
something
can
I
point
need
that
to work
out.
on.
And you could, if she wants to throw the other friends in your face, you could say, listen, like, as I've matured and gotten older, like, I'm not asking as my friends to always agree with me. I'm not expecting us to always be on the same page. But as friends, I want to be able to have these types of conversations and work through our issues. But every time there's conflict with you and I, it feels from my point of view that you always make it about you, where you can't ever acknowledge the role you play in our conflict. And at the end of the day, it feels exhausting to try to maintain this friendship because I never feel like my side of things are ever considered.
I also think something you can point out is that it's really frustrating in these situations when it's like you've known her for so long and she knows you, she knows your character. And it's like, if she thinks that you would really leave her on her birthday and not even say goodbye, then it's like she doesn't even know you. It's like, like I would never do that to you. I would never just get up and leave on your birthday and not acknowledge it. Like I was going to get food, I was coming right back. But the fact that you can't give me the benefit of the doubt is like something that you're struggling with,
Or to that end, where it's just like maybe you were tired and you went home and you didn't properly say goodbye. And instead of just like being like, hey, that kind of annoyed me, no big deal, she made it into like a whole thing about who you are as a friend, and it was like
That's
this.
exhausting.
Yeah, it's
That's like walking on eggshells to the max, and that's not how it should feel with friends.
Yeah. No, totally.
know,
And all my friends from college were at the engagement, except for her. And I'm noticing that they're not posting too. Like they're in the same boat as me. I'm just in it, I would say the most deep, just like you guys said, feels like we're all walking on eggshells because like every little thing turns into a big thing. So I know there's no right way to do this. I just don't know how to really go about
I,
it.
s-
Like, should
I say this a
be
lot.
in
Why don't you write?
person?
Why don't you write a letter? I don't know if you should send it, but write your feelings down. Write her a letter. See how it comes out. Read it back to yourself, and that is your way to express how you feel about the friendship, the conflicts you've had, how you feel like your side of things weren't considered. If you write it and you read it and it articulates your feelings, well, maybe you send that. That's your way of trying to articulate your feelings without being interrupted, without getting into a fight. It's just like, this is how I feel. And you have the choice to leave it open ended. And what I mean by that is just like, you could either say goodbye or you could say, if you want to talk about this, I'm here. The choice is yours. But I can't help but empathize with her a little bit because she's not right, but it's just like she doesn't get it. She doesn't see it. And I feel for her that this is clearly a person who can't get out of her own way, and she's hurting herself as a result of it. And it is causing her to not have friendships that she clearly desires to have. She desires to have these types of connections, but she doesn't know how to not get in her own way. And maybe you just articulating this via a letter and try to write this letter with love in a weird way. I mean by that, just be compassionate and considerate, but still express how you feel. And, it's up to you whether you want to leave it open-ended or close the door.
Yeah, for sure. I just hope she won't be blindsided because the last couple times we hung out, like I tried to make it normal, even though I felt very uncomfortable. And when she texted me and said, we got to catch up, I'm like, yeah, let's catch up. So it's like, I definitely play a part in it too, where I don't feel comfortable voicing my opinion for that specific reason. But yeah, I definitely believe a letter is probably the way to go.
Yeah. I ignoring her would be kind of cruel
Right.
in ghosting her, so to speak.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I mean, she's been there for me through too much. And the things that my friends say too is like, well, maybe this is just a rough patch, or maybe, you're just in different like spots in your life. And I don't know if it's that, or if this is just like, should I fire you as a friend? And also you're not standing up, and also you're not invited to the wedding.
Well, I
think
think
only
her
time will
reaction
tell.
will show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll see. You have the right
Yeah.
to say right now, this is how I feel about this friendship. And right now, I don't feel close with you. I don't feel connected with you. We don't really have a friendship. And it makes me sad too. It breaks my heart. But, this is how I feel. And I wish that I could talk to you about these things. I wish that when we upset each other, that we could actually have discourse where it felt like we were both feeling heard and seen, but that's not how I feel. It always feels like our friendship is based around your feelings. And every time your feelings get hurt, I become the bad guy, no matter what the situation. And no matter how I try to talk about my side of the story, I'm always the bad guy. And I just don't like feeling that way. And, sorry.
Yeah,
And
no,
if she
this is
wants
all
to
fine.
change, if she wants to, there's always a chance she could grow up,
And there's always a
Yeah.
chance that from now until your wedding, she can completely change, how she is and be a great friend to you. And maybe she's not standing up in your wedding, but maybe she is at your wedding. There's still chance for that.
It all depends on how
Yeah.
she wants to handle it.
Hopefully, I am hopeful that she can change, just because I feel like that, like you guys, I think have said in the past, like just friendship breakups are so hard.
They are.
So hard.
But I guess what I'm saying is, it's still treat her with the love and affection that you had for her as your friend. And you have to be honest, and maybe this is a goodbye, but at least articulate your feelings, put it out there, be kind when you're doing it, but be honest and direct, and see how she responds. Like, the choice is hers, but all you are is just like in any other relationship, you are setting a boundary. Hey, I now want friends in my life who do X, Y, and Z, or who don't do X, Y, and Z. And if you can't respect those boundaries, I'm sorry, I just can't have you in my life. And you're communicating these boundaries with her, and you're going to give her a chance to respond in a certain way. The way she has approached this friendship up into this point is a direct result of why you're choosing not to have her at your wedding or stand up in your wedding, and she's going to either have to grow up and acknowledge her behavior and say, hey, my feelings are hurt, but I see what she's saying, and there's some truth to how she's said, and I don't like how she's, her decision, but I'd rather just make a difference, or she's going to continue to play the victim, and she won't be at your wedding. But you will at least then have the peace of mind knowing that you tried.
Yeah. I guess my only follow-up question to that is her reaction, like if it is bad versus if it is good. I don't know. Is there, from your point of view, would you say there's a specific way to go for each?
Well, if good, let's say if her reaction was good, that means, right, there's some sort of acknowledgement and apology. And then you could say, well, listen, like, maybe we can get together, but I'm not going to have you stand up in my wedding. And right now, I don't want to set any expectation. This is not really about my wedding right now. This is about you and I. And so if you're willing to maybe meet up without any promises about where we go, then sure, let's take it slow. But, then that choice is yours. But you can hold her accountable for her behavior,
And there's not a playbook. Like, I think it'd be more simple if it felt like, oh, if this, then that. Like, you can kind of like know how to go through things because like this is so complicated and messy. So I think the more that you can kind of not make yourself feel guilty for saying some things that you need to say, like, and hopefully like trust your gut. So you're not coming at this from like the place of being like, this is really tense and uncomfortable. Because like once you're kind of in tune with your gut, then you'll know how you can respond. Like, you'll know if in your gut, you're like, you know what, I want to throw her an invite. You know what, this is a huge relief. I don't want her in my life anymore. Like, all of those things are kind of valid. There's no one correct answer. And so I think the more you can do to put yourself like in tune with yourself, which is not telling yourself you're a bad person because things are uncomfortable and there's conflict, then I think the better you'll be equipped to handle.
Oh, that's great advice. That's so true.
Amanda's good.
Yeah.
I feel like I get to observe everyone else, and then I'm like, okay.
I'm just like, what she said.
And again, she didn't make out with your
Boyfriend.
That would be a whole nother combo.
Oh, another combo.
We're having it.
We're having it. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, do we have a plan?
Yeah, I definitely want to write the letter. I don't know if I'll send it yet, but just get all my thoughts together.
Get your thoughts on it. Write it twice. May feel good about the letter.
First one can be angry. First one can be like, fuck you, you piece of shit, you pissed me off. And the second one can be like, listen, I really, like, just get it all out there on paper, and then that way you know how you feel.
Yeah.
But from your friend's point of view, it's a shitty feeling to just be abandoned and have people not respond to you. And she may be in the wrong, but she does deserve an answer from you.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Circle back. Let us know how it goes.
Treat her how you want her to treat you.
Golden
right?
rule.
And that kind of goes along. Even in a breakup, don't lose the high ground, so to speak.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll keep you guys updated. I hope I don't call back like, well, she yelled at me again.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she will, but then you'll have your answer, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you can't control her reaction. You only can control how you go into it.
and there's a world where she handles it poorly. She doesn't go to your wedding. 3 years go by, and all of a sudden you guys reconnect when she decided to grow up. Sometimes people need to hit rock bottom for them to realize that their problem is them.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That can be a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
You're the problem.
All right.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. This is all things that I kind of already have been hearing, but it's like you said, nice to get like a total outside point of view.
Well, good luck. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Please keep
Thank
us
you.
posted. And I can't wait to hear an update.
Yeah, of course. Congratulations on your baby. So excited for you guys.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Friendships are such a motherfucker.
Truly.
Tricky business.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be.
What do you mean?
Like listening to her example, and she's been feeling this way for some time.
Mm-hmm.
If that person is your friend, that shit is getting discussed and squashed early on. That space should be safe enough to be able to talk about it. I know it's not.
I know, but sometimes we become friends or become lovers and we get into relationships with people who have their fucking baggage and their shit and their attachment styles are off, all the,
Yeah.
and then it becomes up to us whether we want to work with them
Mhm.
or leave, because we all have a right to leave a relationship that's not serving us.
Mhm.
Every relationship has its issues, and then we just have to decide which relationships are worth fighting for, and some are and some aren't. But
Mhm.
I do think sometimes in life, especially I think that it's tricky when we're younger and we kind of go through that when we make friends in college or early 20s. I think a lot of people have friends because like the fucking Three Amigos. I was thinking about that when I was watching Southern Charm. This seems like a group of guys whose friendships are most based off of like their willingness to keep each other's secrets.
Enabling.
Yeah, their willingness to
All get really fucked up
Yeah.
together.
You'll cover for me, I'll cover for you, and our friendship's based off of that,
Mhm.
And a lot of friendships, and when you're young, are based off of that, because you want to fuck around, you want to have some fun. And it's nice to have people around you who don't make you feel judged for your own shitty choices.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and then some of us mature and we get older and we grow up and we want to hold ourselves to a different standard, and then that makes us look at our circles, and then we have to decide which of those people are willing to change because we want to change, or which of those people are not, and people don't always mature at the same pace.
Yeah.
And so that's where friendships can get tricky in your mid to late 20s or 30s, depending on when you guys grow up. And so that's why friendships are complicated, because
Everyone's on their different journey.
different journey, different
Yeah.
speeds, and it can be a challenge.
Yeah. I agree.
So back to my question about Taylor.
I do acknowledge that she was and is going through a lot, and I do think she has a good heart, and that is why I was so wanting to fix things with her. I think we might value friendships in a different way, not to say that one's different or better or worse than the others, but just like for me, I value communication and having each other's back, and I have friendships that go back to first grade and they're just, and I think I just hold friendships to a certain standard, and I think maybe Taylor casts like a wider net with her friends. Like she's got a lot of them, and they're like a lot of good time friends, and I just think we look at friendships differently, and one's not worse than the other. I think I might have like over thought the friendship to be more than it was, but it's not anything against her. It's just like I'm realizing a lot of shit, especially this time in my life. Shitty times, or exciting things like a wedding or like losing a sibling. I think it's a turning point in your life, and that's just when you get more of a grasp on what you need and what you want in friendships and what you have to give. And if that stuff's just not met with someone else, it's not a bad thing. It's just like a realization that you can go your separate ways, and that's where I'm at now. But it's certainly not to say that I don't think there can be a resolution at all.
So
it's just
I was doing questions with Nick over the weekend, and someone asked a question about how to deal with a fucking narcissist or something, and my answer was, something I've learned in life is just kind of accept people who they are. You get to it, you meet people, you learn about them, and you realize, oh, this is how this person is.
yes, 100%.
Okay, so I can't change them. I just realized who they are. Maybe they might change over the future, but as I see it now, this person is self-centered, or this person is this or that. It sounds like you've accepted Taylor for who you think she is in this moment in her life.
Yeah.
But if down the road she surprised you, showed up at your door, and maybe said some of the things we talked about earlier, where she took the accountability that you think she should take, and expressed to you the type of friendship that she would like to maybe develop with you or just people in general, that you would hear her out?
Yeah. I would say, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's really admirable, the type of friend that it seems like you are, to where you can look at Taylor and say, you know, like, I think you're a good person who did a bad thing, and I'm not giving up on this friendship, but like acknowledge that this friendship won't be what it was at one point, but like I'm not giving up on you, and I'm here if you ever need anything, and like I don't want to close this door off. I think that's really admirable of you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. I do. I'm not the type to just shut the door on something completely. Like, you know, I like progression, and I want to be in a better place and hope that we can get there.
And Austen,
bring out the tequila.
Wait, can I just say, and I totally understand when you're in a space and you're cozy and you're like, I cannot have an underwear
Oh,
or
the
a
bra.
bra on.
The bra.
That you, it's just
Oh,
that you
I forgot
said
about the bra.
throw it away. That's what gets me. It's like, I don't like. I feel like when I find a bra, you know, it's like I cherish it.
It was just such a bonehead. It was a comfort thing, like in the moment, and then
totally get
tossing
that.
it. And then I was halfway out the door, like my Uber was there, and I was leaving, and he was like, "Wait, your bra," and I was just like, "Just toss it," because I didn't want to put it back on. But I woke up that next morning like, "What the fuck were you thinking? Everyone's gonna know about that." And sure enough, the next day, everyone was like, "Oh, your bra." I was like, "Okay."
why, when I said Austen, you said for another shot of tequila?
No, I can't. He's just easier to shit on. I don't mean it that way. Boundaries there with him, and I needed to like move on from my feelings and stuff, and I do want to be in a better place with Austen as well, and we can be like we have the ability. It's just like new boundaries, and that's why I always say I wish we just started as friends, because romantically is where it got trickier, and I don't know.
And who's this new guy you're hanging out with?
His name's Alex. He's from Dallas. We met at a wedding. I was my dad's date to a wedding.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was late to it. He had a business meeting, so not only
Dad
was
or
my
Alex?
dad.
Okay.
So I'm walking into this wedding by myself late, and he was the usher. And he's like, "Can I walk you down the aisle?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a little soon, but okay." No kidding. And,
Cute.
yeah. He's in finance too, so he didn't know anything about the show. So that was fun introducing it to
What
him.
does he think of Austen?
Well, they met. Everything went well. I told him, because Alex can get like extra nice when he's drunk and be like buddy. And I was like, "Babe, just go, like obviously have fun, be nice, but you don't have to be like besties with him." And he's like, "No, I know, it's fine." And sure enough, like 3 hours later, they're coming up on the golf cart together from playing. There was like 4 golf carts, but they were in one together. And I was like,
Oh, great.
damn
I mean,
it.
those guys are charming motherfuckers.
Yeah, they are.
It's called Southern Charm for a reason.
Sure
Yeah.
is.
But there's no like weird tension or flirting between you and Austen anymore. We're just
No, I wouldn't say it's just right now we're just trying to figure out how to like be around each other and be good and put the bullshit aside. There's still a lot to say there, and that's what reunion's for.
Well, speaking of reunion, I know you're not, you have to be careful what you say, but what are things that you would like to address at reunion? Are there topics that you would like to get resolved, or conversations you would like to have when it comes to reunion?
Yeah, there are, because I think there's so many conversations that have been had behind people's back. Like that's what it is. Each scene is like with a different duo. And so watching it back and seeing some of the conversations that were had about me versus the one they had with me, I would love to like clear that up, and also just like clear up like that I'm not trying to be a victim. Like Austen said that to me when we were at Bravocon. He was like, "You're really playing up this victim card." And I'm like, just because I react to the shit y'all have done doesn't make me trying to be a victim, but like I have to say something.
Yeah, but you have a right to be hurt, and you have a right to be upset when people do shit to you, and when your ex and your ex best friend do some shit and then are not honest about it, and then manipulate the friend group and get all that. You are in fact the victim of that situation and you have a right to express yourself.
Right. And that's what I didn't do this season. So reunion, I want that opportunity to express myself and to ask the questions that I didn't ask during filming because I didn't know
Do you think you're better prepared for this reunion than you were last reunion?
100%.
Can we expect a feistier Olivia this reunion?
Yeah, there'll be tequila there.
Okay. Do we have any other questions for Olivia before we let her go?
Maybe just as the rest of the season airs, is there anything that you would tell viewers to just like maybe pay attention to this? Like something that you think watching with a close eye?
That is a good question. The dynamics of the friendships, like kind of how they shift, I thought was interesting. I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm going to have to think on that. But I like that question. Something to keep an eye on. You can keep an eye on how much alcohol we drank in Jamaica. That'll explain a lot of upcoming conversations.
Well, if you're listening to this, I'm just hoping there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You know?
Yeah.
Can't be friends with everyone.
Cannot.
Do you think Taylor's a people pleaser?
Yeah, I do. And we all are in some aspects, but no, I do think that because I think that's like how it started. Like she wanted to please Austen and not get him in hot water. So she admitted that she was protecting him, you know, and so I do think it starts with thinking of others and not yourself with her. I don't think she's like a selfish person. I think she got into a very complicated situation, didn't know how to handle it, and then it progressively just took the wrong turn.
What would be some advice or tough love that you think Taylor should hear when it comes to maybe how she is as a friend?
Take inventory on your priorities. Take inventory on your friendships. Like, realize the people that are there for you and want to be your friend, and don't let like the worrying about other people and like, I don't know. That's a hard question. I'm sweating.
Do you think
tough love just
Do you think it'll come out that they had sex? Do you think someone in your group knows?
Like all the Vanderpump reunions, eventually there's always like, yeah, fine, fuck it, we fucked.
He told me one time.
It always comes from the guys too.
At this one, I wish I would get married and have kids at this point. Like, my gosh, like it's just, you might as well give it a shot, I think. But I mean,
Taylor and Austen.
Yeah. Like,
do you think she's over Shep?
I think she's dating someone now, but
that doesn't mean she's over anybody.
I bet if Shep came back to her and said, let's give this another go, I'm sorry, she would get back.
Oh, I hate that answer for her.
I mean, that was probably my answer for a bit with Austen. Like, it's just like I get it. But then again, that's where she was when I was friends with her. She was very much like not over him. So it's been months. So I don't know where she lies now, actually. She could be completely over him. She could be engaged for all I know. I have no idea. Like,
you really have had no contact with her?
I reached out to her obviously when her brother passed, and I like went to her house and spent time with her there because I did want her to know, like, above everything else, that is most important, and I do want to be here for you, because I just feel like I didn't get that because it's trickier. People don't know how to act in that situation, but I did know how it felt, so I wanted to be sure that she knew I was there. And then stuff started bubbling back up and just lost contact.
I hate that for you both. I hope some healings in your future. But you seem like you're in a good spot, regardless.
I am. I'm good. I'm happy.
Okay.
Are you in love?
I am in love.
Oh.
It's fun.
Yay!
He's so cute.
Yay! We love that.
All right. What's he look like?
He's 6'6".
Ooh.
So
You have a type.
My God.
Yeah.
dark hair, dark eyes. Not from Charleston.
Tall,
so
dark, and handsome.
tall,
There you
dark, and
go.
handsome.
Yeah.
He is one of 9 siblings, and they're all.
I'm one of 11.
No way.
Yeah.
Where do you fall?
I'm the second oldest.
That is so.
Natalie's one of
cool.
7.
What?
Yeah, I'm the
Y'all-
youngest. So we're like,
Oh, I love that.
Mm.
Okay, I mean,
Where does he fall?
He is smack dab in the middle.
Okay.
And I met them all and they're all lovely, great. They're very beautiful. I felt like I was like meeting like the Cullens on Twilight because I was just like, they're all so pretty. But no, it's been great. It's been really fun. And he lives in Dallas and that's where my hometown. So I've been spending time there and splitting the difference. It's been fun.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, Olivia, can't thank you enough. It's been a ton of fun.
I enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed it. Where can my audience find you, follow you, enjoy all of the content you're putting out in the world?
Instagram. And I think it's Olivia B. Flowers.
Okay.
So you can follow me on there. I haven't gotten a hold of TikTok yet. That thing is stressful. But you can find me on Instagram.
Do you want to share your boyfriend's Instagram if they want to follow him?
I don't want to scare him off.
Fair enough. Well, we can't thank Olivia enough. Please send in your questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com for all things texting, office hours, Ask Nick, mediation. You know the drill. We're back tomorrow. We have an update special available to you all. It's a fun, juicy update, and I know you guys love those updates because hundreds of thousands of you listen to them. And if you're thirsting for more, just remember, we got some great updates behind Viall Files Plus. Just go to viallfiles.com to subscribe. It's a 7-day free trial. The update of all the updates happened, a couple weeks ago when we had a guy call in, cheating on his girlfriend with a content creator. And wanted her back. And so he called in and asked for some of our advice on how to win her back. He knew they listened to the show together when they're in a relationship.
Oh,
and
so he knew she'd be listening.
She did. He knew. He
Smooth
suspected. Yeah. And
operator.
she heard it. She didn't find out about it until she heard it. And everyone has a fake name, you know? So she recognized his voice. She recognized the story. She called in, told her side of the story.
Same day?
No, weeks later. Well, because we do our updates.
Okay.
And so she called and he gave an update, and then she gave her side of the update. And it's juicy.
Oh, and so that's that. Y'all, you're going to leave me hanging?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you're all interested, you just go to viallfiles.com. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. If you are here to listen to Olivia, thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed listening to our show. We're here multiple times a week. If you love your relationship and dating questions and callers, we're here every Monday. Our reality recaps every Tuesday. Our Going Deepers every Thursday. And then once a month, we have our update specials on Friday. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.